And we're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another StratFam Forum football show. And this is an SSFA preview show. Once again, the dynamic duo of Tom and Dennis are back together, but unfortunately only for a short while, as I'll have to leave after about an hour. So, Tom, take it away.
That's right, Dennis. By popular demand, Dennis. You found some time. Dennis has a very busy schedule. Of course, he's a huge strat guy. So between your 13 strat leagues and the wife and several children, 4? Is that right? You have 4 kids?
Correct.
And a career, and you're still going to school. I don't know how you do it all. I think Dennis sleeps only about 20 minutes a night. That's how it works. So, but yes. Meanwhile, I have 3 strat leagues, maybe 4. I don't know. And I can't keep up with everything. But anyway, yeah, so we're doing an SSFA season preview show. Unfortunately, the Strat forum is down, so I was not able to send that link up there. We definitely are inviting anyone, to participate in these shows. That worked out great. Dennis has pushed for that for a couple of years, and we got some people to join in during the draft recap show. Unfortunately, Dennis couldn't be there. We got some other people to join in, and it worked really well. And getting different perspectives and hearing from Nathan and Jay and Dan Moore in that time. So if you have a headset or mic and you ever want to shoot the breeze a little bit, even if you just want to spend 10 minutes when we get to your team, that would be welcome. So, and make it more of a community thing, as Jay Villing suggested to me when I was looking for feedback, Dennis, as opposed to the 6-hour, 45-minute monologue. And also, big discipline and focused was some advice I got about what is the show about. Try to stay on that, unless you get a very interesting conversation. But like we did during the draft recap show, it's in the strategy. But so, like, for example, this is a season preview show. In a lot of past years, I would start reviewing the guys' draft again. But no, that was the draft show. This is the season preview show. I should only focus on the team on the field, right, Dennis?
Yeah, one time around is enough. So if you got some coverage regarding your draft pick, although you did leave 3 teams out of your draft show, so if we get to those teams and you wanted to briefly talk about those 3 teams, I think it was Green Bay and
Green Bay, Houston, and possibly Jacksonville. Although Jay was on, so I'm sure we spoke about his draft in depth. But those teams are on the same section of my screen. That's how they get missed. I can assure you, it was purely out of spite. No, it's not true. It was a complete oversight. I've actually thought about doing an addendum, a little 10, 15-minute brief show for Randy and Bradley, particularly, to get their team on. And I probably will do that. I'll probably do it. Maybe I'll do it after this show ends, because I feel badly for Randy, particularly because he's so into the SSFA, and his team got glossed over unintentionally. I assure you, Randy and Bradley, it was just a scroll down accident. So, but I'll try to remedy that now, several weeks after the fact. So right to the 2017 SSFA season, Spring League. Tony is the defending champ. Now, Dennis, until me, if I have my beautiful season-by-season grid, I've been slowly working on the SSFA one. I have from 2011 through 2016, but I don't have like the postseason performance, so you can't easily see who the champion is. But I can tell you that Tony was last year's champion. I can tell you that Ed won the year before, and that Jay won the previous 2. So at least those 4 I know. And Jay has 3 SSFA championships total. Ed has 2. No one else has more than 1. Then she lost. I didn't realize you lost. When did you? Do you know what year you won your SSFA championship? Because when I was reviewing the most recent years, is that you made the Super Bowl in 2014 and 2015 and lost to Jay and to Ed.
And 2016, because I remember I lost to Tony last year.
Oh, you lost to Tony last year?
I'm like the Minnesota Vikings of SSFA, except I did win in 2010.
Oh wow, you lost in double overtime. I didn't even realize that. Wow, I don't know why I thought he beat someone else. I don't know why. Wow. I was busy last year at that time. I think I missed a lot of SSFA postseason stuff. I was during my little burnout there. But so you tell me you made 3 straight SSFA Super Bowls?
I am telling you, I've made 3 straight SSFA Super Bowls and come up short each time. See, you don't mention who. Dennis is the defending runner-up, back to back to back. For some reason, that doesn't quite catch on as much. I don't know why.
Well, I think that's human nature. I think to some extent, and I guess with you, Dennis, you set the bar high. Dennis, all we hear about is the championships. You know what I'm saying? I expect Crowley championships, But also because I don't have it on the grid here. If I had the playoffs things on the grid here, like I do for Samifa, I would easily see, what you had done in the postseason in each of the last 3 years. But that's pretty impressive. 10-6 the last 2 years, making those Super Bowls. Do you remember what year you won the SSFA championship? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, 2010 against.
2010.
Yeah,
I didn't get
Frank Gore's finest moment.
I didn't get to add that in yet. Are you accusing me of slanting the analysis here, Dennis, to make your team look bad?
I'm not at all. I'm just telling you.
I would never do that. Okay. No, all right. And you know what? The suspense is not killing me, but the suspense is something I no longer wish to deal with. I've yet to finish watching your SSFDL championship game against Tyke. I still have you leading 28-21 late first half. I just haven't got a chance to do it, and I want to know now: did you win or lose?
You'll have to wait and find out.
I can click to the end right now. I have it on. I have it on. Just did you win or lose?
Who do you have leading?
I'm at 5:42 to go in the first half, and I have Ferdin, who is Ferdin is elsewhere, by the way, leading 28. Is it Ferdin or Ferdin?
Ferdin. The Ferdin Fighting Otter.
Okay. And I have I have him leading 28-21 late first half. What was the final, Dennis?
It really is a good game. You should really watch it. It's really exciting.
All right, I'll click to the end since you don't want to tell me. 45-34, Tokyo over Ferdin. 17. Say what? Oh.
No, I was just going to tell you, it was the key point in the game was in the late third, beginning of the fourth quarter. I missed a field goal to tie the game. He was up 31-28. And then he went 3 and out, got a 13-yard punt. And then I got a touchdown and then another score. So that switched the game around.
And then other things.
17 fourth quarter points.
Yeah, it's a double counting lead, Dennis. Obviously, a lot of defense expected. You guys 445 and 436 from scrimmage, and you put up a 45-34 final. Very exciting. So, and I think we have a guest. We do. It's good, Butch. Hello, Butch.
Good morning.
Good morning. Butch sounds groggy. Are you just rising, Butch? You're a West Coast guy, right?
Butch played an autumn-win playoff game today. Butch, who won your game against Paul?
That's why I'm froggy. Paul kicked my butt.
Oh, did he?
Oh, no.
I was hoping to get another shot at Cam Newton in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think everybody wants a shot at Cam Newton in the playoffs. I would like to have a shot at Cam Newton in the playoffs. How's that?
First come, first served.
Yeah, I didn't even expect to make the playoffs this year, so it was all a bonus.
There you go. Well, congratulations. Then, look, whenever you don't expect to make the playoffs and you do, it's always nice. Unless you're planning on going 1-15 and drafting first, and you're like, oh man. But that's still good. And Paul's super tough. We all know that. So nothing to hang your head about there. And it's
got a good squad too.
Sure. And it's that time of year, Dennis. We got some EFA semifinals now. We had the last quarterfinal played last night. You got autumn win playoffs getting going. S28 playoffs are heading towards the semifinals. You just won yet another SSFDL championship. So, Dennis, I should congratulate you, Dennis. You finally got above 500 in that league. Actually, you're already above 500. 92 games over.
Yeah, just let everybody know. Just like if I win the SFFDL championship, that means there's 6 more weeks of winter. So unfortunately, we're going to have a rainy season, Groundhog Day.
Yeah, what I refer to is that league has been in existence for 14 years. Dennis has now won 8 of the championships. So he's 8-6.
Well, 8-2.
8-2. You only been there 10 years, or those 14 years? Are those 40 years?
No, I've been in the champ. Oh, I see what you're saying. I've been in the championship game 10 times. I've won 8 and lost 2.
Yes, so you're. But in 14 league seasons, when it comes to winning championships, you're 8-6. 8 championships, 6 non-championships. I guess we can count like the non-championships like a tie, so it's like 8-4-2.
So all the bad luck that happens to me in these other games where I fall short in playoffs, I seem to get perfect luck in SFFDL. things just
I
break
see.
exactly right.
Is that a highly competitive league, Dennis? A lot of teams in the mix, really good teams ready to win the title every year.
It's 2014 league. Yes, it is. Everybody would like to win the title. Sure.
Well, everyone would like to win the title, sure, but there can only be one. As you know, I like to tease Dennis because I don't see how a guy could. I used to tease it. It's a tremendous accomplishment in any 2014 league. I guess in the past I've been more skeptical, wondering how can you win 8 championships in 14 years, and I feel like the league is highly competitive. And then Tyke's making the Super Bowl all the time now. He's in there too, right?
Yeah, but Butch is in the league. There's a lot of good guys in the league. It's just I said, I'm very fortunate.
Butch, what's going on over there? Why don't you put a stop to this?
I'm sorry. I should have won the Super Bowl this year, but I lost in the playoffs.
That's right, Dennis.
Butch had the best team. If I would again, this is the kind of luck I'm talking about. Like Butch had the best team in our conference, and he lost in the round before I had to play in. So I avoided, and he kicked my butt during the regular season. So I avoided Butch in the playoffs. It's just like weird stuff like that happens all the time in this league. It's hard
actually, I went 15-1, and my only loss was to you, Dennis. So.
Oh well, it felt like a butt kicking.
But yeah, it was one of those weird things. In all the playoff games and all the leagues I'm in, and I'm in quite a few, I ended up playing Dale 5 times in 2 weeks, and Dale beat me in the playoffs, and beat me handily, actually. So
yeah, and he beat me in the S28 playoffs. So maybe we're seeing a step up from Dale, I think.
He beat me in the S28 too. So,
Dennis, what are you going to bring up that for?
I don't know. I just wanted to get this to show up on a hot start. We're running out of my time. We haven't even started yet.
Well, that's true. That's true. Okay, well, let's get started then. Okay. SSFA season preview show. Feel free to chime in, Butch, and maybe ask some questions. Would you like to participate, Butch, or you want to be mostly silent but deadly?
I'll do whatever I need to do. How's that?
Whatever needs to be done. That's true. Okay. And Dennis will be exiting at some point, so you can take over to some degree as a co-host. So we're starting with the Arizona. We're going to go on each team, Dennis. We'll try to keep it moving, I guess, because we know you have to go and stuff like that. Arizona Cardinals. This is Kurt, right, Dennis?
Correct.
And why don't you bring up the 2016 standings for yourself, Dennis, if you can? You could tell us what the team did last year briefly. Just go 8-8 or whatever. Okay.
You got it.
And this team, okay, you got Jared Goff at quarterback. You got Isaiah Crowell and Leonard Fournette in the backfield. You got D.D. Westbrook, Brandon LaFell, C.J. Uzomah, and Richard Rodgers receiving targets. Not a lot there. Offensive line's got 2 7s, a 6. The run blocking is only okay. So kind of a sputtering offense a little bit. Not enough receiving targets or running threat. Crowell's not bad. Defense plays a 4-3 that goes 4-4-4-4. The whole front 7 is 4s against the pass, which I generally don't like. Unless I guess you're Zeb or Jay, and you can make the playoffs with a team like that even without a lot of pass rush. Secondary is all 5s and a safety 6. I feel like the front 7 is going to struggle. The pass rush isn't enough to make that weak 4-3 work. Goff's not bad, but not good enough to overcome, I think, a lack of running and receiving targets. There's just not enough on the team, I think, to get them into the postseason. But they're not a bad team.
Kurt's an excellent coach. They went 8-8 last year.
That's true. Kurt has overachieved quite a bit with some of these teams. I should consider that. But I'm still going to give him 7-9 because it's good coaching in this league. What do you think, Dennis?
I'll go 8-8 again. I think he'll have a shot at the playoffs and maybe fall just short. But I could see him going. Right. I'll go 8-8.
And special teams are not that great either, which could be a hurt. Okay. Moving on to Baltimore. That is Jeff Bevier. Right, Dennis?
Correct. And Baltimore last year, Baltimore went 7-9.
All right. And Jeff, if you didn't, spoiler alert, if anyone didn't watch the SEMIFA quarterfinals night between Jeff's Raiders, who were 12-4 with Tyrod Taylor and Todd Gurley and a very good team, hosting Jay's overachieving Bengals with 10-6 with Derek Carr and a cast of thousands. Spoiler alert, to click through this is skip this part of the SSFA show. But the Ravens lost. They were upset by Jay Villing's Bengals, I think 31-17. And Dennis, that means you already were going to be home. You were the 2 seed. But it means that we have our semifinal set. It's Bradley Miller's Detroit Lions traveling to Seattle to play you, Dennis. And it is Jay Billings' upstart Cincinnati Bengals traveling to San Francisco to play the commissioner. So beneath the semifinals, you got Jay, NFL Ed, and Dennis as 3 of the 4 teams. So the heavy artillery in the coaching department is out there, Dennis. Bradley Miller saying, I'm going to take down I'm going to be Goliath. No, I'm going to be David. I'm going to take down the Goliath. That's what I want to do. You don't want to be Goliath in the analogy. David Goliath. What do you be, David?
I think you should be Goliath, because let's face it, Goliath is going to win that battle 9 out of 10 times. So maybe you do win Goliath.
Yeah. Well, what did Will Chamberlain say, Dennis?
I don't know. It's not the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
I think it was Will Chamberlain who said nobody roots for Goliath.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
All right, but anyway, good way to end that needless segue. But the Ravens sidebar, whatever. The Baltimore Ravens.
Real quick. SSFA, I wanted to point out that 14 of the 24 teams in the league finished from in the 10-6 to 6-10 range. So you had a very competitive group. Everybody's right around that 500 mark. So it's like everybody's trying to win and everybody's coming up. They're right in there in that core area. It's a very competitive league. It's very unique. It's not as top heavy as some leagues.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because we saw that in SOMIFA this past season and maybe a couple of seasons. We saw that, it did not feel that top heavy. There was a ton of teams in the mix. That's one of the reasons you probably ended up with someone like Dale Ripley winning the championship last year in SOMIFA. You said, in SSFA this year, I think you mentioned a lot of guys were not trading away pieces for the year if they had even kind of like a decent team. So it was harder to pick up some of those pieces for some guys. So yeah, you might be seeing just more of the feeling like, I got a decent team. And again, there's a lot of good coaches in both of those leagues. So if you have like a mid-level team, if you're a good coach, a lot of guys are saying, well, look, I can get in there and I can do something. Why should I trade away these guys? I mean, look at what Zeb did in SOMIFA with Josh McCown. Look at what Jay's club is in right now in SOMIFA with starting outside linebacker zeros and a 4-3, Dennis. Yep. You mentioned Kurt overachieving with a couple of clubs here in SSFA. So when you have a lot of good coaches, it's a tougher environment, but also when you yourself know that you're a pretty good coach, if you have a mid-level team, hey, why not take a shot? Let me see what I can do here, So maybe we're seeing more of that in SOMIFA SSFA. I'm not in SAMHSA, but SOMIFA SSFA, and that's a good thing, right, Dennis?
Yeah, I agree. You have guys like Kurt and Jeff that, maybe in another league, they might say, oh, like you said, I'm going to trade away these pieces and just rebuild. These guys don't want to do that. They want to trade for help this year and try to make the best of it. So,
yeah, well, Jeff's not going to be making the best of much. I briefly looked over about half the teams so I could try to determine, how tough someone's schedule is if it came down to that. And I think Jeff's is still building a little bit in SSFA, but in general, it holds.
Even with Jeff, I've talked to Jeff the last 3 seasons. Hey, why don't you trade me to Doug Baldwin? What do you want for Doug Baldwin? I'll give you a second for Doug Baldwin. And it just never comes about. And if it was a different league, a different scenario, he would have dumped him. But now with Ball, he's keeping these guys, and he has like a bunch of 4s in the secondary. But it's still going to be a competitive team with Bosa and Malik Jackson.
Yeah, of course, 3 years ago, Doug Baldwin was a 26-year-old perennial Pro Bowler, so I'm not sure why he would surrender him to you for a second-round pick.
No, the second-round pick offer was this year after his kind of.
You said he would try to get him for 3 years, Dennis. I'm just
3 years ago was like a first-round pick for Baldwin.
Okay.
And like every year, like we see what would it take to get him, and I think eventually I'll wind up trading for him when he's like 34 years old or something.
Yeah, but I'm thinking more about guys like Jared Cook, who's a little older, and I guess Doug Baldwin this year would be a decent example of that. Maybe Marquise Pouncey, but yeah, certainly there are guys who, at this point, no matter what happened 3 years ago, who are veterans. That if you're not going to be that good for the year, it's usually good to trade. Now, Cook had a good NFL season next year, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Guys,
he has no 3rd, no 5th, no 7th, no 9th next year. He wasn't trading away players; he was trading for players to try to be competitive.
Yeah, well, we got Mariota and Jonathan Stewart. I don't know how well that's going to work. So, but we got anyway. So these are the Ravens. Nothing wrong with that in general. But there are times when you got to look at your team and it says this team is just not going anywhere. So I can't really I shouldn't really be trading future stuff, you know.
Right.
But anyway, so like this, you got Marcus Mariota quarterbacking. I mean, you got Jonathan Stewart, Amir Abdullah, and J.D. McKissick as your running backs. Do you like that combo, Dennis?
It's a little rough. It's a little rough. But,
That's a little rough.
You're hoping for some dump-off action and not really worrying about running the ball, maybe. I don't know.
It's a little rough, kind of like using sandpaper to dry yourself off when you come out of the shower. You know, so the good offensive line, but Mariota and these running backs, his offense is bad, period, you know, in my view. Of course, everyone's average in this league. 4-3 defense goes 5-5-4-5, 4-5-6 with a pure 6 at outside linebacker, 4-4-4-5. So I know what you're saying, Dennis. It's not a terrible team, you know, because the defense can do some things. You know, you're used to seeing those teams where they look like Nathan's rebuilding team or Tom's rebuilding team, or a team that for whatever reason maybe someone inherited it and they're just really bad and they're going to go 2-14 and just get crushed and lose pretty easily. But there's been more teams in the last couple of years in these two leagues, SAMIFA, SSFA, where maybe they are like 5-11, 6-10, you know, but they're not like so god awful. They're not just like riddled with zeros everywhere, and they don't have Drew Stanton.
Right. The
quarterback like my W team.
Does. If you get lucky in a couple games, maybe you go from 6-10 to 8-8, and with a chance.
Yeah, yeah. This team, I think the offense is just there's no running game at all. There's no running game at all, and Mariota has caught that terrible, but there's picks and the short pass, long pass. Anytime you got to go away from the flat, you're gonna be in trouble. The flat pass wrong interception is 2 to 4 and 12. We've seen Garoppolo throw picks in those type of situations. So I think this team's gonna be in trouble.
I'm going 6-10.
I'm gonna go 4-12. There's not a single running card that makes me blink at all. Mariota can only run a few runs, so I'm gonna go 4-12. It's good blocking, but Jonathan Stewart stinks, doesn't he?
He's not
3.4. He's got off tackle short game on 7. So, well, maybe 4-12 is harsh. I'll go 5-11. Chicago, Lawrence.
Go ahead. Ed has Stewart 40 on his list. So we're happy.
Well, yeah, but that is strictly off tackle formula, as Ed says.
Right.
It's off tackle only. The Bears. This is Lawrence. How did you last year, Dennis?
The Bears finished 10-6, and they went to the playoffs, where they lost to Jacksonville J in the first round.
All right, and Lawrence has 2 straight years of playoffs for this team after some lean years. In a great club in 2011. As I was telling people, I'm slowly putting together the SSFA all-time coaching record grid like I have for SAMIFA. Right, I'm only back to 2011, and I don't have the playoff results in here. I do have if you made the playoffs in the last 3 years, so I'm very slowly putting it together. Who knows when, if I'll ever finish. But Lawrence had a great team back in 2011, then a few lean years. Now he's come back into playoff contention. Lawrence Dennis, in pretty much every league, I would say now, Lawrence has established a winning tradition. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. He's, we talked about Dale stepping up his coaching. Lawrence stepped up a couple years ago, and he's been very competitive, challenging for titles ever since.
That's right. And I remember Dan Thorauer, Dennis, who you remember posted, who coached the Pittsburgh Steelers in the SSFA, posted in the STRAT forum that he had resigned himself to the fact that he's never going to go 12-4 in these leagues, blah, 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 blah. And I told him, well, you shouldn't feel that way, because there's a lot of guys who come online, maybe struggle the first couple of seasons, but they improve. When you're playing against good coaches, you're going to pick up things. You're going to improve. I mean, look at Tony winning the championship. Talk about Dale Ripley winning that SAMIFA championship. You talk about
of any leagues where you can compete. It is the NFL Ed leagues where everybody has average. The dump offs, the white die six are in play, so you don't have to necessarily be the best of the best coaches in these leagues, because you can just get the right bounces in a couple games and you make it through.
Well, I think the average levels the talent disparity more so than if you're playing a double counting league with the excellence and the goods. So I think the average means that the superior personnel won't dominate as strong as they do in the double counting leagues. And the dump off definitely helps as well. You can get a more productive offense going, even if you don't have dominant offensive players, and you're not going to be. And it's harder to totally shut someone down and have a dominant defensive team when it's average, and the dump off. So, but Lawrence is interesting because, well, he has gone into some full rebuilds with certain teams, and he does that well. And so for team is in that. I think that school, or last year, or at least they were. But he's also competed for the year and built good teams. And also he has a style, and he's overachieved at times with an offensive team. Lawrence likes those offensive teams. He likes the skill players, and he uses them very well. Sometimes you'll find his team is a little weak defensively, and that's what we have here with this team. But some people have certain styles that works well for them. And for Lawrence, he works well with if Lawrence's team isn't that great, but he has good offensive skill players, he seems to get a lot out of them, more so than a lot of other guys. And that seems to be his style. And he wins some high-scoring games that way. Doesn't always work out, but it kind of works for him. And this year is kind of a situation like that. He's got Matthew Stafford. He's got the best quarterback card in the set, I think, Dennis, right?
Correct.
Look at that short pass. Very nice. But then you look at Matt Breida and Corey Clement, but those cards aren't that bad. And then he cast 1,000. There's Chris Thompson and these other guys, okay? Antonio Brown, Pierre Garçon, Eric Ebron. You like a little more explosion out there. Offensive line's got a 7 at center, 5s elsewhere, 6 at center and left tackle, 5 at right tackle. But I feel like with Lawrence, his offense will do more than it would for a lot of other coaches. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think we're all seeing, the effect of the weak linebackers on our defenses. So we just like Lawrence is going to have 2 zeros at inside linebacker against the pass and 4s on the outside, and then 4s at corners. So it's going to be tough for him to defend. But like you say, he has the pass rush that can, stop people from throwing short at will, and he's just going to try to outscore him. I think what helps him too is his offensive line, all 5s or 7. So he'll get some dump offs. He'll protect Stafford, and like I said, he's just going to try to move the ball and not worry so much about stopping people with the defense, but bring the pass rush, bring the blitz, try to sack somebody, make it 3rd and 15 instead of 2nd and 3.
Well, only 1 7 though on the offensive line. If you're going to be a pass heavy team, you'd want to have I think at least 2 7s ideally. So I think he can be attacked aggressively by a good pass rush. But Lawrence does well when he has a good quarterback and a pretty good offense. And even the running game is not that strong, they're not that bad. And he again, I'm giving him credit for the offensive coaching and success he's had in the past with a team like that has a good quarterback. A couple of things going on. Maybe not the best running back, but he seems to get more out of that than a lot of the coaches would. Defensively, 3-4. A lot of times on those teams, he has bad defensive personnel. He goes 5-4-5 on the defensive line, 4-0-0-4 at linebacker, but at least the 2 zeros are inside. A 6 corner, which helps a lot when you have the rest of your secondary being 4s. At least you don't have to worry about that flanker too much. So this defense, I don't think is very good. He's going to have to bring an inside linebacker up to help Eddie Goldman in the nose tackle 4. That's going to hurt, leave him vulnerable in the flats. And you can hurt him downfield. You're going to live off of dump offs if you like as well, because he has no pass rush. I like his offense. I like what he's done coaching wise, but I still got to. Maybe I'm overestimating the impact of these linebackers and stuff like that when everyone's got bad linebackers. I want to give him 8 and 8. I really do. But let me look at the schedule. What's your prediction, Dennis?
I'm going 9 and 7. So I'm gonna see. I think he's gonna do some things.
Let's look at the schedule real quick. Plays Butch is decent. Plays John Madden, who's not that great. Doesn't have a great team, but is a very good coach. Plays Joe Golden, whose team isn't that great. Arizona, we looked at. Tampa Bay. There's not a lot of great teams in the league this year, which makes me feel good because I have a strong team. Plays me. I'm going to give him. I'll give him 8 and 8. I'll give him 8 and 8. Yeah. Out of respect for the job he's done recently. Cincinnati. Now, this guy is so annoying, Dennis. I can't stand the Cincinnati coach. How do you feel about him?
Let's bring him on, Butch. This is your team.
Butch Schramming.
And the team sucks.
The team sucks. Oh my goodness.
Well,
Butch, go ahead, Dennis.
I was gonna say, first things first. Last year, Butch went
ransomed his future.
11-5, and was. Did you win their playoff game? I think
I lost the first one.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He lost to Tony 28-24 in the quarterfinal. You should have put the playoff tab there, Dennis.
So Butch has an extra second from you and an extra third next year. So maybe not necessarily pushing for it, but this still looks like a really good team to me.
Now, Butch doesn't hear too much about last year, because last year he had a really strong team, and he probably felt like they were going to do a little better in the regular season. And he ended up, again, that 4-5 matchup, Dennis knows some EFA leagues, that 4-5 matchup in the playoffs is usually such a good game. And again, Butch had a very strong team. Matt Ryan, I think, had a great card. And he had David Johnson and a good defense, but he had to go up against Tony, who had all those 6 linebackers and stuff like that. And Andrew Luck, Tony had a great defense. So, again, that 4-5 game is tough. You want to try to get ahead of that. You don't mind getting into the 4-5 game if you overachieved, but if you have a real good team, you want to somehow try to get one of the top 3 spots, because a 4-5 game is almost always like 2 really good teams. So, Butch, you talk a little bit about your approach this year, because 2 things. Number one, I thought your team had some talent on paper,
right?
But you felt 2 things. You felt it took a long time to decide what direction to go in, and then after the draft, you said, you know what, I'm not going to go for the year. So I was surprised. So those things. Number one, why did you take so long to figure out a direction? Number 2, did the draft impact the direction? And number 3, what made you ultimately decide you weren't that good? Because you got Matt Ryan and Freeman's not too bad, and you got the receivers. It seemed like you had some ability there.
Well, I was looking at the team. I had Matt Ryan, I had Deion Lewis, Tyreek Hill, T.Y. Hilton. I lost both of my O tackles to injury this year, so they both had to be. I had to get gap fillers for them. And again, I kind of ransomed my team last year and drafted a bunch of, mostly DBs that were 1-year guys. So I didn't have a lot of picks. Thank you. My wife's bringing me coffee. How's that? I didn't have a lot of picks. And then when it worked out that my best friend's father passed away and I wasn't going to be at the draft, I just said, this is a good year to rebuild. So,
well, I'm sorry for the loss of your friend's father, and obviously real life certainly takes precedence over STRAT. Yeah. But when you did have Deion Lewis, Deion Lewis and those receivers, and then Freeman as a complimentary back, you ended up getting a 4-5 tackle in the draft, and you have a 0-7 in Barksdale. Right. I guess you just felt like if you were going to go more for the year, then you're really going to hurt yourself long term. Is that what you're telling me?
Basically, yeah. I did it last year. I ransomed the future last year. I figured this year I'd just kind of play it out and see what I could do. So. All
right, okay. And the team still has ability. It's interesting. Matt Ryan. Dennis, we're in the middle of the Battle Royale draft, or near the end of it, really. But let me try to bring up some of my player ratings.
Matt Ryan is still available. There's like 4 or 5 teams that need quarterbacks still, and nobody's taken the Atlanta quarterbacks. All the guys in that range seem to be of similar value, so everybody's just waiting to see who bites first and who's left over at the end.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, his card's not that good, but he's still out there too, I think.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, Dak Prescott, all those guys.
Derek Carr.
Josh McCown.
Derek Carr. A bunch of guys kind of similarly lumped. Yeah, I got to take Bradford out. I go -2 here. So I got Matt Ryan as I think the 15th. Looks like if I sorted this properly, but this is with for SSFA. This is with everyone having the same team quarterback fumble, which is not the rule in Battle Royale. I have to remember that because I hurt myself there. So Ryan, but there is definitely a tier. I kind of feel like in my ranking, I know I have Garoppolo lower than most people. I got Garoppolo number 11, and Bradford's not eligible. But I definitely feel like there's a drop off after Garoppolo. Well, I don't mind Rodgers. I don't mind Goff or Tyrod Taylor. If we drop it to Garoppolo, then you get like Rodgers, Goff, Taylor, and then like another little drop off. But like Ryan Prescott, McCown, like they're not bad. They're not bad. Because that's part of why they're lasting so long. Battle Royale. The depth is there at the position this year. And they're not bad card. I mean, this is not a card that you look at and like, oh man, I can't do anything with this card.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's not bad flat. It's okay short. You had something long. You don't like to pick on 10. And also this is a year where I don't think there's a lot of great quarterback cards. I mean, Stafford is very, very good. Breeze is really good, but not that great deep. Brady's really good. But then everyone else has even got like some question. I mean, like Alex Smith's good, but he's not great. So I mean, it's not like there's. I feel like usually the top 3 or 4 quarterback cards are a little better. So if you have the number 18 card, and they're not bad cards, like
right.
Matt Ryan and Prescott, these types of cards aren't bad cards. You're not as much of a you're not in as much of a disadvantage as sometimes it might be. And part of that is the modern NFL. You got Freeman's kind of okay. Samaje Perine, I think, could do a little bit as a backup.
Yeah.
And, T.Y. Hilton and Tyreek Hill is going to make people stand up and pay attention. But if the run blocking isn't that great, who's going to start at right tackle for you, Zeb? Butch, is it Joe Barksdale or is it John Wenzel?
Probably Barksdale.
Okay. Did you submit your coach file to Ed?
I probably have to change it.
Okay. I was just curious. Okay. You got Tyler Croft and, I see you got James Devlin starting the blocking back. Got Zach Miller on the bench. You want to get him in the lineup. I guess let's get a pound, but I guess Zach Miller's got a decent card. So you got something going on offensively. But it's good, Butch. What?
I think the offense is going to be above average. It's when you go to the defense that we're going to, hurt. I think.
I think the offense is it'll struggle. It'll struggle at times though. The entire offensive line, run blocking and pass blocking, they're going to hurt you at times.
Yep.
The running game probably can't sustain. And when you have an offense where you have 2 great receivers, but maybe not a whole lot else going on, those offenses don't seem to do really well in the Somifa family of leagues. Would you agree with that, Dennis?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just a little bit more difficult for them to move the ball.
Right.
Yeah, all right. We'll go to 3-4 defense here. You go 5-5-5 on the defensive line, 0-5-4-0 at linebacker. At least it's a 3-4. 1-5 the secondary corner, the rest of 4s. So it's a defense that, interesting because you can play some decent run defense with the 5s. You can flood with an inside linebacker out occasionally to cover the 0s. The problem is that those 0s got to cover people down the field as well. Yep. And you already have a free safety 4. So, Dennis, I feel like at times I am not aggressive enough I'm not aggressive enough to throw long passes when I see this type of secondary. Well, Dennis, you're an excellent coach in all these formats. How would you attack this type of defense with, if you had a decent offense?
You want to set up the run, and then go over the top.
Yep.
Run, and go over the top. Are you going to draw plays, Dennis? Thinking he's going to bring up an inside linebacker? Or
it really just depends on how they call the defense, too. It's not just, here's this personnel you're going to attack a certain way. If the guy's sitting and calling run all the time, you can, you go flat and short. If he's calling pass and bringing pressure and trying to, stick at the linebacker in there, then you can mix in some draw plays. Another way to do it is just go 3 wide and just throw at those linebackers. Throw flat at those linebackers. It just depends on your quarterback, your personnel, but there's lots of ways to crack a nut, that's for sure.
Sure. But when you throw a fair amount of bombs, that if you see this type of secondary, this type of back 7, are you right away thinking, I'm going to definitely take some shots with the bomb?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So I think so the defense, it's interesting. It can be coached around to a degree. The offense and the defense both have ability. The offense more than the defense. But there's just not enough on either side, I think, to really feel good about the team. But Ryan's not bad. Freeman's not bad. Butch is usually in the mix to some degree when the team is stronger. I'm gonna go 7-9, Dennis.
All right. I think the lack of Dion Lewis and Butch. Next time you have both me and Tom asking about a player, you've got to get us in a bidding war. I offered you a second before you decided to go, and then Tom offered you a second after you decided to rebuild. But man, you could have played us against each other. You could have got at least a second and a fourth from Tom, I'm sure.
Well, Dennis, I was looking for Dion since before Christmas. So
right, that's what I'm saying.
You didn't get it this first.
When you got Tom and Dennis for the same guy, you gotta build up the price.
But you did the right thing. These trade negotiations can be time consuming. You get a decent deal. You got to move on. Butch was looking to move on. Dennis, other things going on. So,
well, like I said, I kind of changed my mind to go to the rebuilding route on the fly. So,
fair enough. I'm going to go 6-10, thinking that you'll have a couple of bad luck games.
Yeah, I think 6-10 is probably my high estimate as well.
Yeah, well, I would not be surprised if it drifted down 5-11 or whatever, but I'll give you 7-9 for now. Cleveland, Michael Reeves, Dennis. I suddenly felt an increase in my heart rate, Dennis, for the agitation department.
Okay, Cleveland last year went 5-11.
5-11, yes. After making a bunch of trades to try and do better for the year.
And somehow they don't have a second round pick this year. How did that happen?
They don't have a number 2 next year, Dennis. Boy, that's an interesting development. Who do they trade? Who do they get for that number 2, Dennis?
They got a linebacker, I think. Let's look. Yes, I think Shaq Barrett is the player.
Shaq Barrett for the Broncos. That's right. That's excellent, Dennis. And he's a 45-7. Here's the deal. Here's the deal, Michael. Michael is a great guy. He's got the velvet tones. He can sing the national anthem. He calls the games very well. He kind of takes over that in AW now, which is good. And he's a great guy. But a few years ago, when Michael first showed up, Dennis, can you believe that this is now going to be Michael Reeves' 4th season in SSFA?
Fantastic.
Time flies when you're playing Strat. So Michael first came around, and Dennis and I talked to him and quickly befriended him. He came to us because he saw our videos on YouTube. He was watching some of the football stuff, saw this, and this looks cool. Googled the stuff, found out the stuff, went onto NFL Ed's waiting list right away, and got into SSFA first, and now he's in several leagues, including SFFDL. And sometimes Summer Sprint or Battle Royale. But he was all talking to me and very embracing. I'm going to go long term and I'm going to draft young players. And I love this approach and blah, blah, blah. And then he short circuited Dennis. About 2 years in, he said, I'm tired of all this losing. I want to be 3-13. I want to be 4-12. So he made a bunch of trades. He went 5-11. So there you go. But
Barrett is not an old player. He's
not an old player.
Just a year older than Jadeveon Clowney. A year younger than Aaron Donald, so he's right with the core of his guys that he's building around.
Yeah, I'll get to him in a minute. But I'm disappointed in Michael. I feel like Michael is a fallen angel. He's an apostate. He was a follower, and now he's forbidden. He's tossed aside the path, the way of righteousness, and he's lost. And he's out in the wilderness because he's got these teams now that are neither fish nor fowl. Okay, because the last year he traded up with me last year to get his franchise quarterback for SSFA. Nothing wrong with that. He had nobody at Jay Cutler, right? And he had Prescott and Goff and Wentz there. Wentz went before he had a chance to get him, but he had an opportunity to take Prescott or Goff. And he took Prescott partially because this is SSFA. So this is SSFA. So he already knew what these guys had done in their sophomore NFL seasons. Goff had a far better sophomore season than Prescott, and Goff was with McVay. And you're like, oh, Goff's going, and where Prescott had the interceptions and some regression. Who knows? But he took Prescott partially because he said, well, maybe I can have a good year. Prescott's got a great card. But the rest of the team was a disaster. So he ended up 5-11. Okay? And he had ended with like no picks from like the 5th round on or something. Okay? So then this year, he's like going future, okay, blah, 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 blah. He drafts some young players, nice guys. I got O.J. Howard in the 2nd round. And then, like, I don't know what took hold of him, but sometime after the draft, he traded next year's 2nd round pick for Shaquille Barrett, who I like Shaquille Barrett as a player, but he's about 26 years old. He's a 45-7 for the year. This team is not strong this year. And Barrett's going to be a 0 next year. Michael's like, oh, he's not. I don't think he's going to be a 0. He had under 300 snaps and a pass coverage grade in the 50s. So how is that not going to be a 0? Why should he not be a 0, Dennis? Would you predict, Dennis, that someone with that grade and those snaps would be a 0 against the pass next year?
Well, the only way he'll be redeemed is if you remember Strat's carding these guys for team defenses. So if they feel that he needs to be a 4, there's a slight chance he'd get it. But with those PFF grades, that does not look like a 4 to me.
Why? Well, but not on the grades, but the snaps. So you're not even talking about a starter, a true starter. So why would Strat feel like he's going to be a 4?
Oh, he's not even starting?
Well, he had under 300 snaps, Dennis.
Yeah, that's not good. So yeah, he does have a good run defense. He'll probably be like a 0.4 or 0.5.
And Dennis, even if he's starting, Dennis, you play in stock leagues, right?
Yes.
Aren't there a ton of starting zeros running around in these stock leagues?
There are. Yeah, absolutely.
Did the Broncos have a strong NFL defense this past year?
Not as strong as in the past. I think they were okay.
Did they have? Maybe they were okay. They were average at best, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so is there any? We've seen good defenses get a zero starting somewhere in stock teams, or sometimes more than one. So I mean, I don't see Shaq Barrett getting any kind of benefit because he's an NFL starter. That doesn't help you.
When you have a team that's going to struggle, I would have loved to have seen him trade away Cam Chancellor, trade away Ken Crawley, get second-round picks for those 5s or third-round picks at worst, and then take your lumps and finish with a top 3 or 4 pick, and then you build next year. So now
the next year, he also, I don't think you see him, but I think he has J.J. Watt on this team. So you got J.J. Watt coming back next year. You got Clowney, you got Blake Martinez had a good year. Prescott wasn't bad. I see, you're probably not getting a 2 for Chancellor, but I know what you're saying. But look at Dennis. Yeah, but you're getting something decent, sure. And then next year, if you want to trade picks for guys to have a better season, you can do it, right? But also, to me, Dennis, Dennis, this is probably not going to be a playoff team. At best, 8-8, 9-7. To give up now, Michael. I had a long talk with Michael about this. He told me he likes Shaq Barrett long term. He's scheduled for free agency. Michael thinks he's going to get a nice contract somewhere and become a really good player somewhere, a starter somewhere. I think that's all possible. I like Shaq Barrett as a player. I'm just saying.
You wait until he's established himself like that, and then pay the second-round pick.
Well, you probably could get a second for a 2 if he becomes real good, but those second round spring picks that are from a team that's no better than 8-8, 9-7. Those are extremely valuable picks. He just drafted O.J. Howard there. You're just giving up another O.J. You're giving up. I don't want O.J. Howard. He's not that good. Is that what you're telling me? I'm giving up O.J. Howard for a guy who's going to be 0 next year? So I don't understand that. So I didn't like the trade, but maybe Shaq will go somewhere and become a great player. I do like Shaq as a player. I just thought the price was way too high for where this team is. And if you wanted a 4 for the year, so he doesn't play a 0 out there. I know it was hard to find them this year, but I don't know. This defense can do some things, but anyway, hopefully that trade doesn't come back to haunt Michael. I think he'll be regretting it when the draft rolls around next year. But we'll see. And hopefully Brad has a good career. I think Brad is a pretty good player, but there's a lot of ifs there. What we know is that this team is not going to go far this year, and that Barrett's not going to be good next year in Strat. So when you look at those two things, he plays a 3-4. Yeah. When you look at those two things, I'm not trading a spring number 2 for that guy. That's all I'm saying. So let's look at the team. Let's look at the team actually. So, and the team is actually better than I thought they'd be. Got Prescott, a quarterback. He's not bad. Okay. The must running is real good. The end running is pretty nice. So I guess wrong. The flat pass is strong. The down the field, he gets helped by the must run, but he throws picks this year. But he's not too bad. Like we talked about Matt Ryan, he's that type of quarterback in that, whatever, like 15 to 20 range, somewhere in there, probably. But these guys aren't that bad this year. Dennis, if the rest of your team was strong, you could win with Dak Prescott, right?
Yeah, I think so. The problem is, just like we saw with one of the earlier teams, there's no running backs here that scare you.
Yes. Yeah, that is a problem. And just like last year's team, Michael Reeves. It's Alfred Blue and Devonta Booker, Dennis. They got Damian Williams coming. Look at this. Even at Damian Williams, now might be Kansas City's feature back.
Public service announcement. Right now, Michael cannot run anybody in the first half. Michael, you have to tell Ed which one of these 50 to 99-yard people that you want to have unlimited in the first half. As it stands now, Blue, 71 carries, Booker, 79, Kelly, 62. None of those guys can run in the first half because he didn't note it on the roster.
Well, I'm not sure the rosters have been finalized. Is that the current roster, Dennis?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I'm not looking at the current one. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, but Dennis, maybe he's going to throw it a lot in the first half.
He's going to have to.
But yeah, we got. I mean, Booker. I think. See, that's the thing. Also, it's like, you look at these. Booker's not that bad, I guess, wrong. But when you look at these cards and you look and you're comparing them to the rest of the set, because look, you got to compare them to what your opponents have also. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I know it's not a great year for running backs, but when you're competing with the other 24 guys. So if I have a quarterback who's not that great, and then my running cards aren't that great, guess what? My offense is probably not going to be that great.
Yeah, I just downloaded the current ones. He still does not have anybody listed as unlimited in the first half.
Michael, if you're listening, perhaps on YouTube, why don't you maybe pull over on the side of the road and send Ed an email?
Yeah, who do you want in the first half? I would say start with Blue, and let Booker and Kelly do their thing in the second half.
Yeah. On the other hand, though, he will be able to, before any game, tell the other guy, hey, this got to be the first half. And guys probably won't give him a hard time, but there is that rule that you're supposed to say it beforehand. But I mean, Blue's even worse than last year. So, all right. So these now, and the offensive line, you look at 2-5 run blockings and a bunch of 4s. So they're not exactly going to help. Like if you have a great run blocking line, maybe you can get by a little bit better. And Booker's not too bad, I guess. But I mean, not a ton of carries, not a ton of quality in that backfield. Not a lot of pass blocking. Maybe he's going to go flat heavy. I don't know. He's got Keenan Allen, Jarvis Landry, Gerald Everett, O.J. Howard. Michael's improved a lot as a coach as well. But we'll see what happens. You know, I'm hoping he does well because he's got a lot of enthusiasm and he's a great guy. So let's see what happens. Defense plays a 3-4, a 6-4-6, which is very nice. When you play a 3-4 and you have really strong defensive ends, it's just I feel like it's so much easier to play defense. I don't have to worry about that end run nearly as much. Do you agree?
Yeah, and I think that you also have, there's that nose tackle. Even though he's a 4, doesn't come up as much as you might think with these draft league cards. It comes up on the edges, but you can get away with a 4 sometimes, or in this type of situation, especially with 6 defensive ends.
Yeah, I agree with that because conversely, when you have a nose tackle 6, like I've got Kenny Clark on a couple of teams, I feel like it doesn't come up as often as I'd like. I don't feel like he's able to dominate as much as I would like. Certainly compared to if you're facing a 4-3, like those 4-3 defensive tackle 6s, it is very, very tough sledding to try to run inside against, and even with defensive tackle 5s. Good, Dennis.
I just got a text from Michael. He says, that is my plan. Blue first half, Booker second. So, Ed, please note that on the rosters.
Yes, and hopefully Ed's listening. But Michael, you should send him an email because a public declaration during the show via text
probably not valid. Yeah,
is probably not good enough for that. Might not be Ed's cup of tea. So send Ed send Ed an email, Michael, when you get a chance, just to confirm that. Okay.
What's your prediction on this squad?
Well, I can finish the defense. 6-4-6. How are you going to go? 6-4-6. They have 4-4-0-6. Got some pass rush ability there. I like those defensive ends. He's got a 5 a corner. Got a 5 in safety. The defense has ability here, Dennis. I like that Blake Martinez gives him a 6 against the run. Next year's good against the pass. I was wrong about him. So the team can do some things, Dennis. Let me see what they got special teams. I got to get back with a good prediction so that he doesn't get excited that he beats our prediction. His goal needs to be higher than that long term. Very good kicker, Greg Zuerlein. I'm going to give him. I'll give him 7-9. I was going to wait in April. I'll go 7-9.
All right, Michael, prepare yourself. You're not going to like this, but I predict you're going to go 4-12. It is so easy to stop a team like this that can only pass and has a mediocre at best quarterback. I don't care what the defense can do. It's not going to matter because you're not going to be able to score points. Sorry, bud.
Dennis, Michael is going to like that prediction because now if he goes 5-11 or 6-10, he's excited. I beat Dennis' prediction. That's what he said 2 years ago. He went 8-8. So I don't know, but it's just boy, if he had not made that Shaq Barrett trade, I would feel like next year the team could do so much more. Next year you got Damian Williams coming in. Prescott seems to be solid now. You got Landry and Allen and O.J. Howard. You got J.J. Watt coming back, and now you just Dennis. If you want to go for next year, you can get for the year for a high second round pick in a spring league. Right. You could get a corner 5+ or something really good like that. Instead, I got an outside linebacker 0 as a 4 this year. But anyway,
okay, I got
enough of that. All right, Dennis has to go. We got 5 teams done with you, but you were here. Thank you for participating. It's much better when you're here. But I don't even know that real life intercedes. So, all right, Dennis, I'll see you later. Enjoy your class. He's gone. And just like that, he's gone. It was I got to take over keeping track of the predictions. Let's work for me. Hold on a moment. I want to try and read this up. I'm also looking for a volunteer from the studio audience for a co-host. There's no one here. Dan left. And Butch left. I guess we really had a good show. I'd say it's been a very strong show so far. So, with the studio audience, with everyone leaving, the cheese stands alone. That's me. All right, let me try to bring this up here a minute. Bear with me. I'm gonna mute my mic for about 2 minutes and we'll be back to continue the program. I got to set up the prediction thing with Dennis gone. All right, guys, we're back with the SSFA, continuing SSFA season preview show. Dan Moran changing the name of his Battle Royale team to the Maine Myrmidons. Very nice. I play this game Eve, and Myrmidon is one of the battleships. I used to play this game. Battleships or cruisers or something in that game. And I don't know what the real life reference is to a Myrmidon. I will look it up. Probably something aquatic. I was thinking of naming my team some version of the Hammers. I'm not sure. I think someone has had that name. I don't know if Michael Reeves had a name like that. But Dan was the Hammerhead, so I couldn't do that. But we'll see. It still feels like a little too similar. If I'm going to do that. So we're moving on. We got 5 teams down. Arizona, Baltimore, Chicago, Cincinnati, and Cleveland. Moving on. We stay in the Midwest with Detroit, which is mixed team. An interesting club. For Mick, his second year, I think, or more. He's been in Atlanta for quite some time. In SSFA, of course, Drew Brees on the club. Mick wanted to rebuild last year. Tried to ship off Drew Brees. The committee overturned the trade. In hindsight, it would not have been a very good trade. He and I talked about a big deal with Drew Brees this year. We were unable to come to an agreement. So Mick made some moves for the year. But I think I like that. I don't think he really killed himself for the future with his deals, if you know what I mean. He made some improvements for the year. He didn't go crazy with it. And I know I said I was going to try to stay away from looking at the draft. Well, at least you can look what the guy has for picks next year. So he's got no 2 next year, but he's got his other picks in the top 5 rounds and an extra 4. So that's not bad. And not only that, but when you add a lot of us don't like to be in no man's land, right? I know I don't like to be in no man's land in terms of how my team looks for the upcoming season. I like to have a club that make control. This is good. This is all good. I like to have a club that I feel like is definitely making the playoffs, like no doubt about it. It'd be an extreme surprise if they didn't make the playoffs. And that ideally is a legitimate championship contender, of course, but the club that is like a definite, like guaranteed playoff team and is one of the top, 7 or 8 teams minimum in the league. If I don't have that team, I want to have a team that's going to lose 10 or more games and isn't very good, because I don't want to be in that 7-9, 8-8 area. Although my SMIFA team just had an 8-8 season, they were kind of stuck there. It can happen. So, and Mick was a little that spot, because what do you do if you have Drew Brees right now, right? I mean, he's still playing great NFL football. He's a couple years younger than Tom Brady, by the way, which people don't realize. And it's like, and you're having a hard time getting what you want to justify a full rebuild. And not everybody wants to go 2-14 a couple of years in a row. Have a couple of those Hugh Jackson years, as Nathan likes to call them, which I can understand as well. I did that. I don't mind it in the SMIFA family of leagues, but if you're in a double counting league and you're in a massive rebuild, you really get hammered, because you have no chance in those games. When you're rolling out your very poor defense with, a horrible quarterback and no running game and zeros on the offensive line, you run into like any kind of decent team, you just get merciless. You get brutalized. You can't do anything. You're not getting first downs. You can't stop the guy. It's really, really rough. I just had a season like that in autumn wind. So I think the double counting, in that case, the type of defeats you suffer and the grueling nature of those games is its own punishment. It disincentivizes that type of massive rebuilding, because it's not a lot of fun. In the SMIFA family of leagues, I feel like it's not so bad. I mean, with the dump off and the white die 6, and the average, you're going to lose. I mean, I went 0-16 a few years ago at SFA. Nathan did last year. This year's year 2 for him of a bad team. But it's like, it's a gentlemanly 0-16. Like you're in some games, it's 13-10 third quarter. You're getting some first downs on the dump off. You're getting some white die 6 rolls. Getting, floating some flats. The games don't seem nearly as unbearable as like, this Berlin Thunder team I know when I was 1-15, maybe 2-14. But there's nothing you can call. There's nothing you can do defensively. It's really, really brutal. So if you want to rebuild it as a SMIFA family league, you're a little better off. In double counting leagues, it can be tough. So anyway, so he's got Drew Brees. So he looks like he kind of went, and again, he's stuck in no man's land. So he kind of retooled, said, I'm going to add enough around Brees to try to have a decent year, but I'm also going to focus on the future. And it worked out really well for him, because you get Dalvin Cook and Juju Smith-Schuster in the first round. You're getting guys who help you for the year and who are young players who should help you for the future. And if Brees is going to have another good 3 or 4 years at least, these two guys are certainly going to be there to help him out. So it didn't work out too badly for him. But let's focus on this team for the year. Drew Brees is the quarterback, of course. Not great with the bomb like he once was, but still one of the top quarterback cards in the whole set. I certainly have him very highly. Got Alex Collins and Dalvin Cook running the ball. So you talk about quarterback running back combo, which is still very important in STRAT. I don't care what league you're in, double counting, dump off, whatever. That QB running back thing is still very important. When you have good ones, they can go a long way. Although you do need more than that, I think, with the draft league team defensive cards. You got Drew Brees, you got Alex Collins and Dalvin Cook, then you got Adam Thielen and Juju Smith-Schuster. Even Golden Tate, you can run it 3 wide if he likes. Jason Witten is the starting tight end. Demetrius Harry is a blocking back who's got some decent receiving ability. So you like, not as good as I thought. Dennis is excited because he can catch the bomb on 2-6 of units. That doesn't excite me. But you like the quarterback, the running back, and the receivers. That's a nice way to start. Offensive line shaky. You got the 6'7" and Joe Staley, paid the price to get him. That's his only, and he's got a center of 0.5. The other guys are a 2, a 3, and a 4. So the pass rush can be a problem. You got 2 5s run blocking right side there, helped by Jason Witten, the tight end 5. So right side might be where you see Mick running the ball, and Joe Staley, the left tackle 6. Breeze's acumen with the flat passing will help stave off the pass rushing and try to stave off third and very, very long. So it's interesting. I like I like a lot of the skill player talent for the Cards. Offensive line will hurt them at times. So I don't think the offense is as good as it maybe at first appears, but I could be wrong about that. Defense plays a 3-4. It was 4-5-5, 0-4-4-4. It's got 5s at corner and 4s in the secondary. So defense is not strong, of course. Not a lot of pass rush here. Could do a decent job against the run. There's a lot of things to target here. Dump off will always see. Dump off when you have pass rush. We spoke a couple of years ago. When I admitted, after Nathan accused me of it, I admitted it that I was overlooking pass rush in all these draft preview shows. But I do think it's important where if you don't have any pass rush, you can really get killed with a dump off. You really can. And especially if the rest of the defense doesn't look that strong. Just one more thing for you to struggle with, you know? But it makes a good coach, and at least the corners are fives. So at least you got somebody covering those dangerous receiver cards. This is a very interesting team. I'm not really sure what they're going to do. Special teams. Prater's got that 2 to 7 and 12 out to the 41. Like that right before the half. I've done well with those guys like right before the half. They're good from further away. You know, the defense, you know, I'm always a tough critic, right? So the defense makes you want to pick this team for only 9 and 7. The offense makes you want to say 10 and 6. I'll go 9 and 7 for now, but this will be a team where if I need to find more victories to balance off my season predictions, I'll be bumping them up to what the hell am I saying? To 10 and 6. I find a 9 and 7 record and copy paste to be the best way to handle this. And Dennis will look over all this and he will add his predictions later on. And we'll put that on the forum as we always do. But this is an interesting team. I'll really be interested to see how they do. I should look at the schedule a little bit on these teams. I'm not sure. You got Baltimore, Arizona, the Rams. So that's a very soft start to the season. Pittsburgh, Miami. And I feel like there's not a lot of great teams this year. So maybe at the end I'll end up my predictions being under 500. And I'll have to definitely add some wins to some people. But it's probably a good year if you have a strong team. I know I've got a strong team. Dave Gabbert's got a strong team. I know Ed or Dennis or somebody else has got a strong team. So if you have a strong team, it's a good year for that. You know, you always want a strong team, but you know what I'm saying. I think Houston is pretty good with Tom Brady. So his early schedule doesn't look too difficult for Detroit, but we'll see. I'll probably mend that later. The Green Bay Packers, Randy Leeper, our man. Randy has been an SSFA for a long time. Built a team for a few years. Three of the last 4 years, he's made the playoffs. Last year was his best team, 12-4. Best record anyway. 12-4. And was disappointed. Lost a close playoff game to Dennis, 24-21. But you're in the mix. Look. And that's what you're dealing with in Samif SSFA. I talked about Samif has got Jay Villing, Ed Burrow, and Dennis Crowley. It's 3 of the 4 semifinal coaches. And not even like stacked teams this year for those guys, who are certainly good GMs as well. But, you know, you want to get yourself to the type of team that could be 11-5 or 12-4, right, or better. But then when you get in the playoffs, you still got good coaches you got to beat. You know, you're going to play Jay, or you're going to play Paul, you're going to play Ed, you're going to play Dennis. You know, there's plenty of other guys who are good coaches. Scott's a good coach. You know, I mean, there's a lot of good coaches in these 2 leagues. So you got to build a team, you got to get there, and then you got to beat somebody good. You know, so if you're a coach that hasn't had that type of success yet, and so if SSFA, you know, it is challenging, but you can certainly do it. You know, and people have done it. Tony won the championship last year. Dale won the FIFA championship. So whoever you are, Randy's certainly a good enough GM and coach. And I really admire the way Randy has handled his roster construction during these past 4 or 5 years. You know, he's taken a very measured approach. He's traded for help for the year, but not paid a ridiculous price for it. He's taken a long-term view, and he's also developed a coaching style that I don't think was there a few years ago. He's kind of a ball control type of guy now, and it works for him, and he likes to run the ball, and that can work a lot. So maybe the defensive side, he's got to step up the coaching a little bit. I'm not sure. He's a good enough coach. And I like the way he handles his team overall, and he got a lot of enthusiasm. So I'm always interested to see what Randy's doing with the drafting and the trading and stuff like that, because I think he does a nice job with all that stuff. Now, the team for the year, I think, is not that great because his running backs fell off. a little bit. Normally with Shady McCoy, you got one of the better running back cards in the set. Well, Le'Veon Bell, I know has not been great, but he's usually pretty good. He's all right this year. He's not bad, but he's not one of the better running cards in the set. That's for sure. I don't think he's even in my top 10 really. He's down around. I don't even know what this is sorted by. Even though it's my file, whatever he's sorted by, he's down around number 15. Which normally isn't that bad, but you look at the guess wrong columns, it's all white, right? STRAT gives you yellow, green, or blue, and the rating is file if you have one of the top percentages. So you want your running back on wrong to have something good there. Give me a yellow or a green if they have a real good back. Now he does have plus 5 yards or more. Well, good percentages there. Blue, green, blue, right? And he's pretty good guess right. And pretty good receiver gets wrong. Guess right. He catches the ball. We talked about this. The yardage just isn't that great. 6 plus 1, 10 plus 3, of course, gets the big minuses on 3 and 11. His receiving average was under 8, 7.7. So I'm not sure where the cutoff is to get better yardage. But I think I'd like my guy to be at least 8. I think it might be a concern with Christian McCaffrey next year, who caught a lot of passes. I think Alvin Kamara's receiving average was down this year, 2018 NFL, compared to his rookie year. Now I'm curious enough to look. St. John's getting destroyed by Duke. That's unfortunate for me. St. John's fan. I live in Queens. I was growing up during that the Chris Mellon era, but really it was more like Walter Berry when I started really following the St. John's. He was the guy for me. Eastman played National Player of the Year one time in the 80s, lefty forward for those who don't know. But 1 year in the NBA, played pretty well and then went to Italy. I guess he ended up being like a bit of a head case or something. So like McCaffrey this year had an 8.1 receiving average with a bunch of catches over 100, I think. So that yardage might not be quite where you want it. And the great Alvin Kamara in the regular season. I really hate the changes ESPN made to their. We had 8.8. That's more like it. 10.2 as a rookie. I feel like you get to at least like 8.6. Usually the yardage is kind of where you want it in STRAT. But otherwise, that right yardage can be not that great. And the running card is not great, not getting a bunch of wrong calls. So I don't know what to make those high reception, low average cards. You see them with the tight ends at times. Believe it or not, Zach Ertz might have something like that next year. He had all these catches, but the average wasn't that great. He's on one of my teams. Two if you count my team with Dennis. Yeah, tough situation. Anyways, you got Joe Flacco, quarterback, who is not that great. Good flat again, which Randy likes to throw, but the short long is not that great. Bob Ojak did a great job with him, and Samifa went 13-3 with Joe Flacco and LeGarrette Blount. A tremendous coaching job there. Lost in the postseason, that can happen when you overachieve tremendously in the regular season. I don't think I have Flacco very high. I have Flacco even lower than I thought. I have Flacco down number 29 in the set. So, quarterback is not that great, but you can throw flat. Running back is okay. Got Travis Kelce and Tyrell Williams. That's nice. Le'Veon Bell can certainly catch the ball. Vance McDonald's got good yardage on the catches, more incompletion than I thought. Maybe I'm thinking of a different year. Maybe I'm thinking of next year. Offensive line's got 3 6s on it. Got a blocking back 5 and 2 7s in pass blocking. So, but Randy kind of like Arizona Bob in Samifa. Does a nice job with like this ball control approach. So maybe he'll, so I think he might get more out of this offense than it looks like by these rankings I'm looking at. Throw a bunch of flat passes and stuff. So we'll see. Defense is 3-4. 6-4-6 on the defensive line. 5-6-5-4 linebacker. That's one of the better pass ratings among linebackers we've seen so far. And then we know that the pass rating for linebackers is weak right now in Stratomatic and should continue at least next year. Secondary's got a 5 at one corner, got a 6 at safety, the other guys are 4s. So defense isn't bad. You can play pretty well. I like Randy's approach. Or still punt returns weren't so shaky. The kicker is strong out to the 32. I mean, he's almost automatic. I'm going to give Randy some props for doing well lately. So I'm going to give him an 8 and 8, believe it or not. I think the team could get to 9 and 7. Get to 9 and 7, that'd be a really nice year with that team, in my view. In some ways, Dennis has been harsher than I am in the predictions over the last year, season or two. We haven't quite traded places. I'm still excessively critical about certain things, but he's become a little more critical, I think, with the records. Well, part of that is also he used to end up with over 500. I used to end up under 500, and we both had to modify. So that's part of what's going on there. The Houston Texans. I'm going to say the Houston Oilers. Wish. Love you, Blue. You Joel Campbell, 1980 summer spread. That was a lot of fun. I lost in the first round of the playoffs to Rick Byron's, the great Rick Byron's. Close game. But it was great to use that Campbell card for 60 games. I'll tell you that much. Over 2,000 yards. And the first pick, or the second pick. That's right. What am I trying to look at? His record. Brad's a former SSFA champion. He's got Tom Brady in this team. For the last 5 years, it looks like he's been in the playoffs in SSFA. He's currently in the SSFA semifinals. I know there's not Brady in that team. It might have Matthew Stafford. I forget who his quarterback is in the fall. We're in the spring here. He's got Tom Brady quarterbacking, of course, is outstanding. Got Derrick Henry as the lead running back. Duke Johnson, number 2. Henry's not bad, but nor is he very good. Johnson fumbles a lot. Yeah, Henry's not too good. More of a complimentary back than the guy you want for your main back. He doesn't have a center 5 and 2 6s blocking on the left side. So that helps. If you go blocking back, this guy's only a 4. He can't catch, so not a lot there. Sammy Watkins, Devin Funches, Jack Doyle's got a better call than I realized. And he's a 6. He's also got, of course, the great Mitchell Trubisky on the bench for the future. I say that somewhat sarcastically. That's right. He took that sort of half approach. And then I talked about it earlier, guys don't want to give up for the year and enter a full rebuild where they can be competitive. And and there's a lot of competitive games in so for SSFA. There's a fair amount of parity right now. There's a lot of good coaches, and it's average. The rule set promotes a greater parity, I guess. So you can have an entertaining season with a lot of close games instead of getting your head pounded in, I suppose. I don't mind getting my head pounded in for a couple of years and then being very strong. That's kind of what I prefer to do. But 3-4 and hopefully be very strong for a long time. Like I want to have a massive 18 right now. I want that to have like 9 or 10 years with like no losing seasons or no missed playoffs. That's kind of what I'm looking for right now out of them. And I want my Sabifa team to get like that. At least I've had, I think, 3 years straight in a losing season. Only one in the last 5. But guys, when you see the records of guys like Paul and Zeb and Ed, the bar is higher than that. That's for sure. Houston, 3-4 defense goes 6-6-5 the defensive line. You have to like that. 4-6-5-6 at linebacker. The true 66 inside linebacker, Luke Kuechly, in a set where there's not a lot of good pass coverage linebackers around. He's got a 4 at left corner, but he's got 5s at strong safety and right corner and a 6 at free safety. So, and you've got some pass rush with Cameron Jordan, the 12-2 pass rush for the line of scrimmage. Clay Matthews blitzing 12 from the outside. So this defense looks pretty strong. 6-6-5, 4-6-5-5, 4-5-5-6. They can be targeted, but just on the ratings, they're playing well. Nathan makes a battle royale selection. I should probably pause my notifications as I'm learning how to do different things. Offensive, of course, I like Brady. The running game, though, running game is going to hurt this team. Special teams seem reasonable. Power trainer has a touchdown. I'll give this team 9 and 7. The lack of running game is going to hurt them a lot, and the receiving targets aren't that great. And Brad sometimes lives around that neighborhood, 9-7, 10-6. And I think it's going to be hard to get to 10-6 without much of a running game. Move on to Jacksonville Jays in the middle of a rebuild, so this should be pretty quick. I might have some people listening on YouTube. I know Michael Reeves is. So we got the in-game communication for Mr. Reeves regarding his running back choice for each half. So Jacksonville Jays got the hated. It was the rookie Mike Glennon. Now it's the hated Mike Glennon at quarterback who beat me in the Super Bowl in 1916 a few years ago. Jays got 3 SSFA titles. Has had a lot of success in recent years. Look at this, a 5-year run. 15-1, 10-6, 13-3, 14-2, 10-6. He's got 3 titles. I think the first one was further back. I'm not positive. But I know he won back-to-back, I want to say 2014, 2015. No, 2013, 2014. 2015 was Ed, 2016 was Tony. So 2013, 2014. But now across the Palmer, sailing off into the sunset, Adrian Peterson on the back end of his career, despite the great year for his age, certainly, with Washington this year. Jay entered the massive rebuild. Mike Glennon's a quarterback. He's actually not that bad. Flat pass. There's nothing down the field in terms of the bomb. Even the short pass is shaky. Joe Mixon is not awful card. I mean, Jay's looking at a coach. He's not going to roll over. He's got the 0-0. This is the key to rebuilding. If you're rebuilding, you want to make sure you lose a bunch of games. Get yourself a couple of 0-0s with the offensive line. You'll be surprised how often you run into a sack unintentionally, just like a normal 2nd and 7 type of play, because of your multiple 0-0s in the offensive line. They're a key, quite frankly, to a good rebuilding effort. That was first year. And look, we all want the quarterback, and we all know Baker Mayfield's in the draft next year. You coach to win. Do not tank from that standpoint. You have to coach to win. That's the only ethical thing to do. But you make your team so bad for the year that they can't win. Well, that's. I have a lot of experience with it. I'd like to say that I could build the worst team on paper that I think that anyone can. When I'm rebuilding and I want to ensure a good draft position, I'm sure that anyone builds a team quite as bad as I can. Nathan is definitely rivaling me in that area. I'll have to watch for that to compare. You're going to have a couple of games between my own 16 team and his. See who comes out ahead. 4-3 defense for Jay in this rebuilding season. 4-0-4-0 on the line. 4-0-4 linebackers. The old Swiss cheese defense. 4-4-5. What's he doing there? Artie Burns. 4-4-5 at right corner, 0 at safety. So team's going to struggle mightily. I think a bad kicker always helps also if you have a bad team. Marcus Sherrell's to the team. What's he doing there? Good punt returner code. He should be off the roster. And the kicker's not that good. And Vinatieri, believe it or not, only 2-8-12 from the 13 to the 32. So, but Jay's such a great coach. He'll do some things. Mix in, Glenn can throw flat. Not going to kill him too much. I'll go 3-13 for Jay's club. Considering we're in a massive rebuild. Yeah, but I don't think it's quite 0-16, 1-15. So Jay has a little bit to learn from Nathan and me, regarding what type of team you need to field in a total rebuild year. 3-13. Moving on to Dan Morin. Very interesting guy in terms of his approach. Got 5 seasons here. Had a disappointing 6-10 year last year. Made the playoffs the year before, 11-4-1. Made the playoffs a couple years before that, 10-6. 8-8 and 7-9 wrapped around that. So it's been miss the playoffs, make the playoffs, miss the playoffs, make the playoffs. So it's been off and on. And he's expected to make the playoffs this year. And he has gotten rid of a whole bunch of picks, I believe, for next year. He has no 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has number 1 only by league mandate. Cannot trade away. Well, I don't know if you would choose to anyway. I suspect he would have. But you can't trade away your 1, 2, and 3 in SME league. You got to keep either your number 1 or both. You got to keep either your number 1 or your number 2 and your number 3. Which I think is a good rule. So that if you decide to, so you can't like go all out for the season, and if you quit the league, they're even the team's even in worse shape. They're going to be in bad enough shape as it is. At least they had a couple of draft picks coming in, and also forcing you to take some sort of long-term approach, I suppose. But anyway, more the former than the latter, probably. If you'd asked Ed, not that I wish to speak for him. But this team is interesting. I was looking at them, and I know that they made a lot of moves for the year. I know that Dan's a good coach, and I don't want to speak too critically, but I feel like if you're going to go all out for the year, if you're going to go almost all out for the year, if you're going to trade all these picks away for the year, your final product should look better. It should look better than this. And I see Nathan go all out for the year. We saw what Tony did. I would compare this team to Tony this year. Tony went almost all out for the year this year, with Andrew Luck out because he had a good team and wanted to defend his title. And maybe he was starting from a stronger base than Dan's team was coming into the year. I don't know. But Tony's team looks more like I think a team should look when they go all out for the year. Nathan's had some teams that goes all out for the year. It's like, whoa, their team looks like they're going all out for the year. They look like a 12-4, 13-3 club, no problem. And they're generally one of the Super Bowl favorites, 2 or 3. So I feel like if you need all those picks, that's where your team should end up. And this team, I think the quarterback running back combo is just going to hurt them. I mean, if you take Aaron Rodgers' name off of this card, it's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not great. I love the must run ability here. And he's got 2 to 10 is 5 yards or more. It's crazy. And you got 8 units of it. But the interceptions are gonna stick when you get those dump offs and stuff like that. Interception is higher. 5 best is all right, but not as good as you'd like. And the running game is not really going to generate much in the way of wrong calls. Aaron can't do the wrong. How do you know? When Gallman's the lead running back, only 111 carries. It's about 14 to 15 on fatigue. He's not bad. It's not bad. No breakaway power. He's not bad. I don't mind this card. But you can't really catch, though. Can't really catch. And again, you're competing against the rest of the league, not just the card is not in a vacuum, right? He's got some decent run blocking for the off tackle and run. But then the other back is who? CJ Anderson? I used the CJ card in on a wind, and it's just not that good. A lot of +1s and +3s and stuff like that. In the heart of the card, he is better for the yardage, but not the completions really on receiving either. And then I look at the receivers, and I say, well, Josh Gordon is great deep, 15-21. Has got a lot of yardage on the short and the flat, but the completions aren't there, really. I got Amari Cooper. I don't think that's a very good card this year. Next year, 1-7. He's a 12-18 deep, so the long pass is there with him. But this is a 16-22 short pass card. Randall Cobb is a little better flat pass, short pass. I don't think it's some 3 wide, or Cobb might start at times. Got Antonio Gates, but this is a 6'11", 14. This is a 16-22 short card, good for blocking back. Not that great for a tight end. 7 only flat, not bad. Will help with the dump offs, like the yardage on the flat right. Cameron Braid's going to be in there. He's a good receiver. He's got 19-26 and a nice flat card. He's maybe more important than Gates probably. So it's not bad, and there's stuff here, and it's not bad. 2-7 to the offensive line. A 6 at left guard, 5's at tackle. It's not bad. I mean, the offense can do some things, but I think Gallman not having enough carries, nor quite Dalvin Cook quality, and then CJ being the number 2. For a lot of the game, you have Aaron Rodgers and CJ Anderson. And, the offense will be all right, but I just don't think it's going to be very good. Dan's a good coach. So we'll see what happens. Let's see what's there in defense now. 5-5-5 defensive line. I like that. You get a 7 nose tackle and a 9 right end. And he's got the left end 0-12-1 Yannick Ngakoue, who will be in there quite a bit for Dan. 4-4-5-0 linebacker, but it's Chandler Jones, outstanding pass play. I wonder if Dan submitted a coach file. I suspect you might see Chandler Jones on the left side and Connor Bowen on the right, but maybe not. He's got 5 everywhere in the secondary. He's got a 4 extra, so that's pretty good. You know, Dan's going to come after with the blitzing and the pass rush. And this is a type of unit that he can make that work with. When Ngakoue's in there on the line, and let me do that real quick just to visually, I can feel the full impact of the pass rush. Then you look at this, 12-7-9 with a 1 asterisk. The 12-10 at one outside linebacker, 8 at the other outside linebacker. He's going to be free safety blitzing. He's going to be bringing these guys. He's going to challenge you to beat him down the field. He's not an automat. He's going to mix it up. He'll flood an occasional flat. He'll move for safety in there occasionally. So I think the defense can play well with this aggressive style that Dan likes to use. And I think they will play well. And they'll have some big games. And they'll run some hot and cold. I also don't think there are those stud pass blocking lines to the degree that we were seeing a few years ago. There were more sacks in the NFL next year. I don't know about on a percentage basis, which is of course important, but there were more. So if the trend is toward a little bit of reduced pass blocking in STRAT, as you go with the flat pass and the 3 wide and these and that, a guy like Dan will benefit more because he likes that pass rushing style. So I think the defense will play pretty well. The offense can do enough with its defense, and the offense can have its moments, I think. And again, I think Dan's a good coach. You got Farrell Cooper on returns. Oh, Dan. The kicking. Dan has had his issues with the kicking game in the Samifa family of leagues. I joined him this past year with the misfortune of using Dan Bailey. And Brandon McManus, extra point looks good. 2-9-12 for the 2-yard line. I'd like to be trailing 17-14 a minute left. You got to try 2-9-12 from the 2 because he couldn't punch it in. I was like, oh no. I know it's not much different than 2-10. You just feel like you miss it more likely. 2-9-12 out to the 22. So I don't even like that from the 3 to the 12, 2-9-12. 2-9-12 out to the 22, then 2-7, 11-12, 23-32, and then 2-6 on the long one, which is only out to the 27. So that's at the 37. The 2-6 I think is not too bad. But I don't think it's not a very good kicker. They're going to miss more field goals again, which is going to lead to more agita and another couple of fingers of bourbon in the glass. So I don't know what to do with this team. I believe in Dan's ability to manage his pass rush. I would not get as much out of this as Dan or Paul or Nathan or Dennis. My SSFA team last year had tremendous pass rush ratings, and I could not manage them properly. Didn't really sell it out and go for it the way these guys kind of succeed. That's a real weakness in my coaching I need to work on. I want to believe. Can I go 10-6 here? I'll go 10-6. I'll go 10-6 because I know Dan's a good coach. This pass rush is very impressive. He has other stuff he can mix in. He can do enough for the offense, and also not a lot of great teams this year. I keep saying that. So if there's not a lot of great teams, the team that's pretty good should do a little better, right? I'll give him 10-6. I'll be very interested to see what Dennis predicts for this team. If he'll join me or if he'll go a little worse. But I do feel like if you're going all out for the year, I would like to see a little better. I like that running back situation, especially. I know you can't get everything, but I don't know. I don't know what to say. But anyway, this team, and with that pass rush and with Dan's coaching, they're definitely a postseason threat. Once they're in there, they could do some damage and make a run towards the semifinals of the Super Bowl. So I would put that beyond past the team. Let's see how they do, It's been a couple of years since one of those pass rush heavy defenses really got the job done in the SMIFA family of leagues. At least, I don't know Samson, but SMIFA SSFA. So we'll see if Dan can do that this year. Okay, the LA Chargers. That's Paul half man, half Mankiewicz in this league. No. Yes. LA Chargers? Oh, San Diego previously. Okay, yeah. And surprisingly, look at this. I only back to 2011 in this grid, but 4-12, 14-2, 6-10, 5-11, 9-7, 9-7. 3 10-plus loss seasons in 6 years for Paul. And only a couple of 9-7s in there. And we have the I got the career stats from the commissioner. Paul's under 500. He's been in since SSFA since the beginning. He's actually under 500 with no championships. Very surprising. I didn't realize that. But this team is going to be good. They got Trent Taylor and Todd Gurley. Tyrod Taylor and Todd Gurley as that QB running back combo. Alfred Morris even as the backup. So plenty of carries. Pretty good offensive line. A 7 on the left side. 2 5s, a bunch of 5s pass blocking. Not bad. Not the best receiving targets. Nelson Aguilar, Devonta Parker, Kobe Fleener. Ryan Griffin, the blocking back. But, that good running card makes up for a lot. Defensively, it's a 4-3 team. 5-6-5-5. Those 4-3s that are loaded with 5s or better, they've been playing really well. They really have. I need to rethink my dogmatic commitment to the 3-4. Gotta have more flexibility. Sometimes it's an easier path with certain teams, and it's certainly in a battle royale type of league or to win. Goes 0-4-4 linebacker that has got a strong safety 5. The rest of the secondary, corner 4s, and a free safety 0. That's not a good defense. And does not have the pass rush that Paul often has in these situations. You can bring in the right end 0-8 Chris McCain. He will see his time, his day in the sun, so to speak. The middle linebacker is a 7. Wesley Woodyard, the right outside linebacker, is a 6 for pass rush. So you'll see some of that. But I would like to feel like I can hammer this team in the flats and still throw it short and long because the pass rush isn't that strong. Right? If you have a good quarterback and reasonable pass blocking. And then the special teams got Brian Switch is a good punt returner. Cordell Patterson, the kick returner, to the lows aren't as important as they once were. Will Lutz, 2-11-12 from the 13 to the 32. 2-10-12 on the XP. And Gurley and Morris, Tyrod Taylor. I don't like the rest of this offense, and the defense looks shaky. I tell you, I almost feel like picking 7, 9, 8, and 8 under someone else's hands. But we saw on some for this year with Zeb and Jay and maybe to some extent Paul. I forget what his team looked like. And you can't always just go by the roster. You got to give the coaching have it be a major consideration. So because of that, I'm going to give Paul 9 and 7. I would not be surprised if he did a little better. I think he could do worse. And I don't think this team is a legitimate Super Bowl contender because of this back 7 on defense. It's a killer in a modern league like this with the white die 6 and the flat passing and even the dump off. So you're going to try and shut down the flat. You're going to be hurting against a short and long pass with a free safety 0 and corner 4s. That's going to be rough. Well, I'll give him 9 and 7 because it's Paul. And if someone else's hands, I don't think I'd be picking that because I think the defense is just really in bad shape. In the back 7. 4-3 with the weak back 7 is very, very tough to win with, in my view. Although Zeb just did it. Nathan is possibly next, though, because they're moving around here. Yeah. Moving cities. The Chargers and the Rams relocating. Things a little off on my prediction grid. The LA Rams, that's Nathan's club. They're in year 2 of rebuilding. It's got Patrick Mahomes on the bench. Can't use this rookie card. It'll be a much better card next year. Let's see what Mahomes' rookie card looked like. There you have it. Nothing much to see there. Blaine Gabbert is the quarterback. Nathan's got 3 0-0s. Nathan knows. I'm not competing for the year. 0 zeros on a line of scrimmage. You have 3 of them. That will get Blaine Gabbert sent to the emergency room. That'll get you. That will keep your offense from advancing far down the field more times than not. Now, Blaine Gabbert, not that great flat, throw some picks. Not that great short. The must running helps out a little with the 2-8, 5 yards more. Watch for the end run, 7-8, no yards, but 6 plus 11. Throw a couple of bombs, but it's not a good card. Not as bad as Drew Stanton, who I had to play with. Where did Blaine Gabbert come up? Come up my quarterback rankings. He's certainly below Fitzpatrick, who I used. I have him number 43, just ahead of Patrick Mahomes, behind Trevor Siemian and Mike Glennon, who I have at 41. 2014 league of the 43rd best card. That's not good. And Marlon Mack and Eddie Lacy and Paul Perkins, they're not really going to do enough. Cooper Kupp and Marcus Goodwin are good. But 3 0-0s. No run blocking at all, so his offense can be very bad. The defense might not be much better. It's a 4-3, 0-4-4-0, 0-0-5 at linebacker. All 5s and a 6 in the secondary. But this team's not going anywhere fast. Nathan's in year 2 for rebuild. He's got Patrick Mahomes ready to step in next year. And he's probably got the first pick in the draft. I'm going to predict 2-14. And with Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold or whoever has a good year in the NFL in 2019 being up there, you'll probably see Nathan trade down and cash in. Unless maybe Barkley has a great year and he wants to get him. But he's been a bunch of picks this year. And the next year you'll see some more trading and drafting. Nathan's a year behind me in the rebuild. I blew mine up, which makes sense. We both had very good teams for a long time. You see, he was 12-4, 7-9, 12-4, 12-4, 10-6. If you go to the all-time grid in SSFA, I am 5th in winning percentage, 4th in victories. I got to pass Mick somehow this year. I'm 5th in winning percentage, 4th in victories, and Nathan is 7th in winning percentage. He was not here for the first season. 7th in winning percentage, and maybe 5th or 6th, or, well, top 10 in victories. It's been a long time. 5 and 6, so let me play 11 playoff games pretty good in 10 years. I played 14 and 11 years. I haven't played any for 2 years there when I did my Hugh Jackson stretch. I was 4 and 28 over 2 years, including 0-16. But so Nathan, like, he started rebuilding. He blew up his team the year after I did. His team had a little more life than I did. When I went 0-16 3 years ago now, he went 12-4. Actually, he was 2 years behind me rebuilding. Last year was his first rebuild year, and I had done it 3 years ago. Okay. So I rebuilt 3. He's where I was 3 years ago now, if it makes any sense to you. My year 1 was 0-16. His year 1 was 0-16. My year 2 was 4-12. His, I think, will be 2-14. I had a good Derek Carr card. That's why the team got to 4-12, even though the rest of it was awful. He does not have that. So look at 2-14. But then last year 3, I made the playoffs, lost in the first round. Next year, you probably see him in the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes and other stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised knowing Nathan if he maybe goes more for the year and has a better performance than I did last year. We'll see. It depends on a lot of things. A lot of football between now and then, a whole NFL season, and the whole strat season of seeing what the cards look like and off-season trading. But he'll be at the top of the draft ticket next year, probably trading down. Miami Bob. That's Bob Ojak, Arizona in Somifa. Did a tremendous job getting that team to 13-3. I mean, amazing. With that Arizona team. Beat me in week 1 in a close game. Ultimately, of course, kept me out of the playoffs or mini playoffs. Bob had been struggling a little with this Miami club, I believe. Last year they made it 8-8, but you see the records in the previous seasons. I need to blow this up a little bit better. But you see the records in the previous seasons. Last year was his best year as far as this grid goes, back through 2011. He's been in the league, I think, the whole time. But his coaching also maybe getting better with the team going 8-8 last year. He's stuck at quarterback where he's got Eli Manning and Blake Bortles. And I don't think he traded up. But Bradley traded up for Trubisky. So Bob's still, quote unquote, stuck with these two guys. Eli might not be awful next year, might be flat pass only. But for the year, you got Eli will be the starter. A pretty good flat pass. Not a lot else going on in this card. A lot of missing ink on the short pass right. Even wrong. 2, 5, 9, 15, 19 units. Okay. Probably because they couldn't run the ball at all. 4, 9 on the bomb. I can't have Eli very high in my rankings. 26th. Just below, actually, I have Bortles slightly higher. So just below Dalton and Fitzpatrick. Bortles throws picks, I think, right? The running helps him. Because everyone wrong card for Bortles. That's nice. That's 8 plus 7 or more. Neither one of these guys is too exciting, but Manning gives you the flat pass. And Bob has run the type of offense with success, flat pass and running. With backs who want that great Jordan Howard. Doesn't have the card he had last year. Not too bad. A little kind of chunky. Not a card I'm terribly excited about. I'm 11th in this formula, but there's a lot of subjective stuff that would come into those rankings if I was doing it for a Battle Royale style draft. Bernard's got a pretty good running card this year. Off tackle wrong. Mike Reeves alluded to one of his broadcasts. It's pretty good. And he can usually catch. The yardage is not that good right, but it's pretty good wrong. So a little bit of something there between those two backs. Alshon Jeffrey's usually pretty good. He's only 1926 this year. He's at least 12-18 on the bomb. Sanu, Selleck, Van, not a lot going on with the quarterback and skill players. You got guard 7s, but your left tackle's only a 2, and your right tackle's only a 3. So this offense, it's not going to do a lot. It's not very exciting. It'll be ball control and try to beat you that way. Bob's had some success with it, but I think this offense will largely struggle. Plays a 3-4 defense. Goes to Malcolm Brown, I think, is a 4-3 defensive tackle. He is. So this unit's going to go 4-4-4. 4-4-4 defensive tackle. Corey Liggett is a 4-3 tackle, so he could have put a 4-3 that was 4-4-5-4. But anyway, you can play 3-4 that's 4-4-4. And the linebackers are 4-4-0-4. Secondary is actually good. It's all 5s with the right corner 6. But no pass rush at all. Dump off will kill him. The ratings here hurt. And nowadays, like these running backs can catch a little bit. Second tight end. He's outside linebacker. Pass ratings are hurting you. And the flats are also hurting you if you can throw short to those guys. So they can't come to the line of scrimmage as easily at times. So overall, the team is going to have some trouble on both sides of the ball. But Bob's a pretty good coach. Let's see if there's anything coming out of special teams. Well, the power return doesn't look too strong. Kicker's all right. I'm going to go 5-11. I wouldn't be surprised it's slightly better. 6-10 or maybe a 7-9 if he really overachieves. But I'm going to go 5-11 for this club. And Bob needs a new quarterback. He needs someone to come in. He drafted Bortles highly, thought he'd be the answer. He had a good sophomore season with yardage and touchdowns, but has not worked out. So he would love to get his hands on a Mayfield or a Sam Darnold next year. The defending champions, the Minnesota Vikings, Tony. His club. As I think we passed now, or about 2 hours, almost 2 hours into the show. So it should be under a 3-hour show. I don't think I'm getting in as much detail as I sometimes have, or not getting off track. Or maybe I've spoken to you guys for so long about all these things, and we covered so much during the draft recap show that it feels like there's fewer digressions, fewer sidebars, so to speak. The Vikings with Tony, I got Alex Smith. So like this team won the championship last year with Andrew Luck, but also with 3 linebacker sixes against the pass, 6.66 and a 4.3. Not much bigger factor than Andrew Luck, certainly. Whose card was all right last year, but not great. Choking there for a moment. Hold on a minute, guys. Let me pause. There we go. I'm back. All right. So Tony won the title last year. We talked about guys getting better at their coaching. Now, the impact of the 6x6 linebackers was huge. And that's something we have not seen in recent years since Strat's been nerfing those pass coverage ratings of the linebackers a little bit this year, being the biggest nerf of all. We have not seen another team with those 3-6 linebacker pass ratings that shut down the white die 6. They're just huge. And that's what Tony rode to the championship last year. And I was saying, we talked about guys improving in coaching and how Dan Thorau felt about his prospects in these leagues. Tony had only played in 1 playoff game. He's been in this league since the beginning, 2006. He had only played in 1 playoff game before last year in 10 years. And last year he won the championship. So you talk about improving his coaching. You can see how that happened. 11-5 regular season. He had an 8-8 and 7-9 a year there a couple of years ago, 6-10 the year before that. But I mean that championship will live with Tony forever, as it should. And he decided he wanted to make a run at defending that title, and which Dennis would certainly approve of. I'm not as big into those things if I don't think my team has it. So even with no Andrew Luck, he traded a bunch of things to improve for the year. He brought in Alex Smith and Marshawn Lynch. You're talking about one of the best quarterback cards and a very good running back card. I have Lynch at number 7 in these mathematical formulas. His card is good enough. Normally, I would re-rate these subjectively. Like I would take Alex Collins ahead of Lynch, but anyway, it's good. It's a good enough card for your number 1 card. And he's also got Latavius Murray. He's got the carries. Okay, so he went for the year, and this is what he ended up with: Alex Smith, Marshawn Lynch, and Latavius Murray. Tevin Coleman can catch. Des Bryant and Mike Evans are wide receiver. Gronk at tight end. Nick Boyle is a blocking back. 5'5". Yeah, very low yardage. 4 sevens on the offensive line. You can run it on the right side with a 5.56 with Gronk. So there's only a 4 center and left guard. Or to Andrew Whitworth in trade. There's a 4-3 defense that goes 5-6-6-5. Those 4-3 defenses with defensive tackle 6s, they are very tough to run against. I've played against those in so many leagues. They are such a pain in the ass. Even when it's all 5s, they're pretty good. They're pretty tough. With those 2 6s at tackle and a 4-3, they tend to play really well against the run. Let's take a look at the units of defensive tackle when they come up. I don't know if it's similar to the nose tackle in a 3-4 or not. Someone like Dan would probably know that, or look it up quickly. But you got to get 1, 3, 8. You get 9 units there of defensive tackle, 6. And you get 5 yards in the 2. Otherwise, you can't get more than 2 yards against a defensive tackle 6 there. 9 units. I think it's the same as the nose tackle, actually. I know my team plays a 3-4, so I'll go there. Nose tackle to linebackers got 1, 3, 6, 7. Did I do that right? 1, 3, 6. Only 7 units of the nose tackle. And you get 7 yards on a snake eyes, 3 yards on a 3. Oh, I was looking at off tackle on the. I think I just compared two unlike columns. This is where the show bogs down. Let me look at that again. Okay. 7 units for a nose tackle on a line buck on a 3-4. Off tackle, 1, 3, 8. 8 units off tackle. 1, 2, 3, 8. 8 units off tackle, and you get a +8 or a +4. 5 units +4 is not that bad. So like 9 and 8, like +3, +4 outside of the snake eyes. And then for the 4-3 against the line buck, 1, 3, 6. Only 6 units. So there's actually 1 more unit for the nose tackle. But the best you're getting here is no gain. 0 minus 1, 0. You get +8 and +3 on a 3-4. No linebackers there. And I know you can say, well, I'm going to bring the guy up, but there is the draw and all the other stuff. Just I'm just saying, if you just stand there, because you do get caught with linebackers, no man. Off tackle, no linebackers. 1, 3, 8. 8 units. So 1 fewer than the 3 for nose tackle. But the best you get 5 yards of the snake eyes, only 2 yards. So you get a little less yardage there. Interesting. I need to look at those 4-3s. I've used them in the retro leagues. I don't mind using them in the summer sprint of the older seasons. And of course, I've played this game forever, so I've played a lot of 4-3s. But modern game, I kind of dogmatically prefer the 3-4. But there's 4-3s that with all 5s against the run are very tough, and all 6s even more so. Very tough with all 6s. With tackle 6s. 5, 6, 6, 5 in a 4-3. Goes 4, 5, 4 at linebacker. Has a 6 at one corner. Has a 6 at free safety. Has other 5s at the secondary. So how will Tony coach this? There's a lot of ability here. You know what I've seen guys do with the 4-3, which is very tough. If you're trying to attack this with the West Coast approach with flat passing, they bring the safety up into one spot or look in and flood one of the outside flats. Now you're throwing either 6 or 50% of the time you're throwing at 2-minute zone. And he doesn't have a lot of pass rush from the down lineman. So you can challenge that with short pass 3-man right or long pass no-man right. So there's something there. But the defense is still pretty good. Look, it's just a lot of good ratings. The outside linebackers are 4s against the pass, but the rest of the defense is 5s and 6s. Defensive tackle 6s, corner 6, free safety 6. So the defense should play. They're not going to play as well as last year's unit. Last year's unit chose triple linebacker 6s. That is the shiznit. So they're not going to play as well as last year's unit there, but it's good. It's certainly a very strong unit. Alex Smith, Marshawn Lynch, and Tavius Murray. I like that. Gronk is special this year. Look at that flat pass tight end card. Look at that. Come on. You have to respect that. With that 1/4 of all flat passes being a receiver rating. Man, look at 5 plus 17 plus 19. So you got to respect that. I was thinking of taking that pick early in Battle Royale. Somebody else did. Maybe the second round. So this offense has got a lot going on. I like the defense. It's a very strong team. Let's see what we got here for specials. The kicker shaky, making Mason Crosby 2-8 and 12, 13 to 22, 2-8 and 12, 13 to 32, and nothing much deep, which does come into play with a game here or there. So I liked a lot of look at this team. I know Tony won the championship, but he did only go 11-5 in the regular season last year, and with the team that I thought could have maybe done more from a regular season record standpoint. I want to pick this team for 12-4 on the personnel. I said a lot of weak teams this year. This one is strong. I'm going to give them the bump. I'm going to go 12-4 with this team. I'll go 12-4 with this team. The onus is on Tony now to coach his team to great success. We play in the opening quarter. That'd be a good game. Jets, Minnesota. My teams are good this year. I'll go 12-4 for Tony, the defending champ. Wouldn't be surprised 11-5. But if I'm going to say it's a down year, I got to give a good team a little bump, right? Move on to the Saints. I'll try to pick up the pace here a little bit. As we get we're down to maybe 8 or 9 teams to go. And it's just me monologuing as we enter our third hour of broadcasting. The Saints traded for Carson Palmer. You have Ryan Tannehill reports this morning on PFT that the Dolphins are planning on releasing Tannehill. So he could show up in Washington. I can see that. He could show up somewhere. Kind of a weird career so far for Tannehill. Injuries, and was injured actually all the time now, last few years. So, but Palmer's card is not that great. Pretty good flat pass. I can't imagine he comes out very highly in my mathematical ratings. 22. Ed's had some success with him. Aaron Jones got a decent kind of card. Jamal Charles, Kerwin Williams. Trying to piece together some running backs here. The rest of the team is pretty good. In some ways, his team a little similar to my Samifa team. Scott was building for years. Takes a long-term approach. We're of a similar mindset regarding that. And you saw these very lean years. He took over a horrible team. Had to build them up. He went lean for 3 years, then 10-6, 12-4, 11-5. I know he was in a semifinal one of those years, lost to Ed. Maybe even the Super Bowl. No, because Dennis had lost those. So semifinal. There was a real close game with him and Ed that I called. But a lot of the talent here. DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Green, Zach Ertz, Devontae Adams got three receivers. So you'll see a lot of 3 receiver formation possibly. Maybe try to pull a Del Ripley. Left guard 5'7", only 1'7". The rest of the guys are 4s and 5s. Guard 5 blockings. The rest of the guys aren't that good blocking. So not much of a running game, not much run blocking. Excellent receiving targets. Palmer's pretty good flat. Maybe he'll go with the Del Ripley approach, believe it or not. 3-4 defense goes 6-4-6. 4-0-5-4. All 5s in the short pass zone. A 4 at free safety. He's got some pass rush if he brings Robert Quinn in as an outside linebacker. Bruce Irvin is the starting outside linebacker. I haven't seen Scott really sell out for the pass rush when he's had it. I think that his old Samifa team had some good pass rush. So this team is kind of weird. They're kind of in a bit of no man's land. Again, a team that had a lot of talent and lost their quarterback, even though Tannehill is not top notch. You know, he's maybe a little better than Palmer has been when Tannehill's been healthy. I could be wrong about that. It's a very tough team to figure out. I want to say 6-10 because of the lack of a running game. Good kicker, Justin Tucker. I want to say 6-10 because of the lack of the running game, but there's some weird pieces here that can kind of work in some way. I'll give him 7-9. 7-9 for Scott Saints. For me, that's my prediction. Now, Dennis put the target on his back with Michael Reeves saying, Michael's not going to like it. I picked 4-12. When did they play this year? Cleveland, Seattle. They play in block 2. Michael, you get me in block 1, you get Dennis in block 2. So you have your chance to shut us up. There we go. Shaq Barrett might have a big game against me. Well, we'll see. We're on to my Jets. I'll try not to spend too much time on. Believe it or not, I've heard that some people think I might spend a little too much time talking about the Samifa and SSFA Jets. I'm so surprised to hear that. Not. All right, so my Jets team, massive rebuild a few years ago, 10-6 last year. I made 2 Super Bowls. I won 1, I lost 1 during the Michael Vick, Peyton Manning era. Now I'm on to the Derek Carr era, which, of course, it's not a good sign. If you're a starting For the franchise quarterback in my era, apparently he spent an awful lot of time on the bench. I'm in the Andrew Luck competitive era in Samifa, trademark. And Luck has missed 2 of the last 3 years. Now I'm in like the second year of my competitive era, this SSFA team post-rebuild, and Derek Carr's on the bench. He's my franchise quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo will be my quarterback this year. It's interesting with the Garoppolo. Guys seem to like his card way more than I do. I got Jimmy number 11 in the rankings. Ed's got him number 7. And like Dennis has said to me, the Garoppolo card is so hard to stop. And the interceptions are a concern. 2 to 4, 11, 12. You're still at 2 to 4, 11, 12. Look, most guys are 2 to 3, whatever. It seems to come up. Short pass 2 to 7, 11, and 12, guess right. Long pass practically automatic, 11 and 12, guess right. But when you can throw like this, guys will guess right. Now, on the other hand, the flat pass card is great. So if you can run the ball with this card, and it is 7-13 deep, and the short pass is good, 4-10, 14. There's a lot going on with this card, no doubt about it. The completions are there. I just don't like the interceptions in the modern game. And my formula is mathematical. And that's why he's down there at 11. I don't think I would put him any higher than 11. I don't think there's anyone ahead of him I would take. Maybe I'd take him over Big Ben. I have to look at that closely. But I would take the lower turnovers and all these other guys, even the Case Keenums and Carson Wentz is out there flat. I have Wentz and BR. But here's a Garoppolo card, which is certainly good and dangerous. And I was very fortunate to pick up Deion Lewis from Butch after the draft. He's got one of the better running cards in the set. This is a big move for my team, I think, to really give them that Super Bowl look. Deion Lewis has got the 4th best card by my numerical rankings, it's not a great year for running backs. So even though you're 4th best, I don't think you're getting like a really strong card. Like if Gurley's got a nice card, even Ingram's got like some chunkiness to him. So, but anyway, it's a pretty good card, and you're comparative. And there's a lot of weak cards. Once you get down past about Alex Collins and you're dealing with Darkwa and Kenyon Drake and Jordan Howard and Bilal Powell, those cards aren't that great. So if you're Alex Collins or above, you probably have an advantage on the opposition. And Lewis does not good yardage, but pretty good flat pass wrong. I think he's a 0.03. So he's not totally susceptible to the blitz. You'd rather have something higher than that. That 10 free safety is vicious, at least for the non-free safety blitzing. But it's a good right and wrong card. Got some show gains on. This was a big pickup for me. I drafted Ole on Darkwa because I needed somebody better for the year. He's all right. Gets wrong. Not in love with that card visually, but it's okay. So he's now going to be a caddy. And, of course, I traded Christian McCaffrey, so he'll be in there with receiving acumen. So it's Deion Lewis and McCaffrey will play a lot, and Dork will come in when I get low in carries. So that's not bad. With Garoppolo, then I got Brandon Cooks, Kenny Stills, Evan Ingram, so that's a good trio. Blocking back, Rhett Ellison. I'm actually going to play a lot of blocking back, partly because he's a 6'7". He's not that bad a short pass receiver. 11-18. So I feel like I'm not as hamstrung as I usually would be with the blocking back. If I want to attack the shorts more, you might see Jordan Reed in there. Blocking back is 1926. His flat pass card is just dreadful. Look at that. Flat pass right, 4+1, 6+3, 7+1. Averaged 7.8 yards a catch. He's injured all the time. He can't block that well. But he'll be in there occasionally if I want to go for that look. And I like the line. They got 5s everywhere. Right guard's a 6, 2 7s on a left tackle, center 3 right tackle, 4 Hurts. So you get me into a 3rd long, and you're like a Dan Moore style coach. You can hurt me. But the offense looks pretty good. The defense also looks good. 3-4 defense. Goes 5-6-5, 4-5-5-5 at linebackers. That's better than a lot of people are. Corner 6. The rest of the secondary is a 5s, including an extra defensive back 5. For solid look at defense, some pass rush, 7-5-8 along the line. Not going to win any pass rush awards for that, but 7-5-8. Nick Perry will play some as a backup 11. So if you're weak in pass blocking, I can possibly try to get something going. But my style tends to be differently, so you probably see them not doing as much of that. The special teams, I wish we could have got something better in the return game. But the punting is real good. With Hecker. The return, the yellow is okay. McCaffrey's okay. I would have liked to have something better than that. And the field goal kick is where I really got disappointed. I was hoping to get Lambeau, I thought I had him more lined up in the 5th round, but he went before that. Then I started to run on the young kickers. And then with Jake Elliott, he's only 2 to 11 and 12 from the 13 to 32. He's only 2 to 10 extra points. He's 2 to 6, 11 and 12 deep, and he can do it out to the 44, but I would trade that off for something a little better from the 13 to the 22, certainly. When I get stopped at year 17, I want like an automatic field goal. I don't want to be gnawing my teeth at 2 to 11 and 12, especially a team that I think can go far, that has Super Bowl aspirations. I don't want to be missing field goals in the playoffs like that. So we'll see what happens. But I like the team. I think they're good. They have a bit of a Super Bowl look to me. I'd like to pick them for 11 and 5. Dennis would probably say I was selling them short. I think I looked at my schedule. It's actually fairly favorable. So I'm going to go 12 and 4 with the team. I'll certainly be doing whatever I can to get better than that. But I like the team a lot. I do think they're a legitimate Super Bowl contender. They have that look to me when I've had these type of teams before. So we'll see if they can get there. Let me finish with the rest of the teams. I'll be disappointed if this team does not make at least the semifinal. The Giants, Joe Golden, his club. Joe's a very good coach. He can be built for the long term, but also likes to compete for the year. I didn't realize his SSFA team has been struggling. 5-11, 8-8, 2-14. So that's been a surprise to me. I'm going to mute my mic just for about 30 seconds to ask my wife something. Hold on. I forgot that you guys can read my texts. Should be putting that on the screen. All right. Well, nothing personal. Nothing too bad anyway. Okay. The New York Giants, which are the Joe Golden. So let's see what the Giants got in store for us this year. After they drafted Deshaun Watson, number 2 for all the future of the franchise. Now Joe's got Jameis Winston plugged in here as the starter. Watson throws a lot of interceptions. I got Winston. I got them neck and neck, actually. I got Winston 21 or 20 because Bradford's in there. And I got Watson, I guess, 19. Depends if you have deep threats. Oh, and you do. You got Robbie Anderson and Bryce Butler. Let's take a look at this for Joe. Winston, now is Bruce Arians down there. So if he can't get Winston straightened out, nobody can. Pretty decent flat pass, not too bad short. The long is 6'10". Not what you'd expect from Winston, only a 6'10" long pass card. Watson has got the sexy M run. 2-day +6 or more on the must run. Pretty good flat. The big difference is the picks, but the must runs will help if you have good pass blocking, especially on the short pass right. And deep, he's got 5 completions, but also 12 units of must run. And 5, 6, 8, 11, 5, 12. So if you have any kind of running game. Plus, who would you rather use? Would it be more fun to use the quarterback you just drafted, number 2 overall, who's going to be starting for the franchise next year, or the guy who you drafted highly a couple years ago and has been letting you down so far? Running game. Kenyon Drake has actually got a pretty decent card. This team might not be built for this year. I'm getting the impression. Yeah, because that's about it on the ground. No pass blocking to speak of. No 7s at all. Robbie Anderson, Bryce Butler, that's pretty intriguing. Robbie's 15-21 deep, right? He had a big year down the field for the Jets. 5, 11, 12, yeah, 15-21 deep. 16-22 short. He's got 2 15-21 long pass targets. Put Watson in there. Throw some bombs. You can throw flat too. You can Hooper and Henry. Plus you can run some runs with him when Drake gets low and carries. 4-3 defense was 4-0-5-0. 040-5444. So Joe knows. Joe knows when his team's not good. He's not going to make moves for the year and try and do better with a team that just isn't really going to go anywhere. So this team is still rebuilding, and they're not going to do well this year. Not much of an offensive line, 2 shaky quarterbacks. Defense is not good. Look at you play a 4-3 with a. You said the 4-3 is good, but the defensive tackle 5 is down so much the defensive tackle 0. And 2 outside linebacker zeros. And only 1 5 in the secondary. So Joe's not going for the year. Does he have the bad kicker to top it all off? Good at punt and punt coverage. Good at punt and returning with Callahan. He does. Aldrich, Days of Wine and Rosas. 2-7-12. And 2-6-12. That Jim Bakken? Fred Cox, shades of 1970s with a 2-6-12. 23-32. Rosas had an excellent year next year, though, and that's what Joe's building for. So this team won't do well this year. Drake, Winston, and Watson, but Joe's still a good coach. 4-3 defense. They're not going to do well. I'll go 3-13. And a high selection for Joe next year. And then you'll still have to see the winning come in as Watson shows up with a lower turnover card. Joe's got another high pick next year. He's already been drafting guys for a couple of years. I think you'll start to see that team next year. Joe and Nathan will be rejoining the fray next year after some down years. Next, we have the mighty Dan Thorauer. No, we don't. We have Oakland. We have Dave Gabbard, whose club looks mighty this year. Dave's a very nice guy. Dave and I maybe got off on the wrong foot in the STRAT community. He caught me at a bad time. It ended up being a bad time for him as well. Personally, which I didn't realize. I feel badly about that in hindsight. But Dave's a good guy, very enthusiastic, very upbeat, very friendly. And he's playing in quite a few leagues, and he's a welcome addition to the online STRAT community. And he's got a very good team this year. Made a trade there with 11-5 in the draft. He's got you got Big Ben and Mark Ingram. Big Ben's had him 10th in the set. I tend to have his card higher than most, probably because of the long passing, despite the interceptions. Flat pass not quite as good as usual for Big Ben because 2 is incomplete. He completed 64.2, not 66, 67, 68, as he has done at times. But that's still good. 2 only incomplete. The short pass, 4, 10, 14, is 15, 21. That short pass wrong is nice. And 2-9 must run at 5 yards or more. That gives you a little bit on those extra 2 units there. Pick is much higher than you'd like, 2-7-12. That holds back him and Garoppolo. Long pass is 9-13, which is not bad. Pretty decent all-around card. I wish the picks were lower. But if you can run the ball, then it's a different story because the long pass wrong interceptions are generally low for everyone. And here they're snake eyes and 2-3. So, and he can run the ball because you got Mark Ingram and some good run blocking. Ingram has got one of the best cards mathematically in the set. I like the linebacker card a lot. Doesn't have the short gains you'd like, but +4, +5, +8, +6, and some strong edge runs. Very strong against right, both linebacker and left tackle. Your tackle is chunky. +1, +3, +2, 6, 7, 8. So you include the dreaded 5. That's 19 units of 3 yards or fewer off tackle wrong. So if you run off tackle wrong with Mark Ingram and you get your card, the most likely outcome is 3 yards or fewer. But you got a long gain on 4. +25 at 11, +50 on 2, and the off tackle right is good. So you can still run that a little bit. The end wrong is not bad. You get the short gains and less chunkiness. Does lose 6 yards with the end right, but it's, you can mix it in. Pretty good flat pass wrong receiver, very good flat pass wrong receiver. Guess right, you wish the yardage was slightly higher. So he's a good card. People will respect it. But if you have good blocking, you can definitely do something with it. He has got pretty good blocking here. I've got 2 7s on the right side for the run blocking. You got to put that guy at left guard. Brandon Brooks, you need 7 to block the high linebacker. The offensive tackle you can play around with more because sometimes guys get cute on defense and they put their best pass rushing defensive end at left end during the preseason time that we're in right now. But you play against a 3-4 that left guard's always going to block the high linebacker. I mean, in a 4-3, the right guard's blocking the left tackle. The left guard's blocking the right tackle. You don't know for sure who's going to go where. You need to see more 3-4s. The 3-4 high linebacker is often going to be an 11 or 12. The 4-3 defensive tackle, it's hard to find a guy over an 8. So I would plant that 7 left guard if I could. He's got Matt Forte and Austin Eckler as the backup running backs. I called the game last night. Forte's running card. Off tackle wrong, a little better linebacker wrong than I thought it was. But still catch some. It was his last card. Austin Eckler's card, not too bad. Linebacker off tackle. Amron wrong. Next year, possibly a very good card. We may have to rethink our questioning of Dave Gabbert's selection of that card in the second round. I might go slow here for a few minutes as the wife is taking care of something for me, but I'm still going to broadcast. Now, Dave made a lot of moves for the year. And Dave's new to the online community a couple of seasons here. And when you play with stock teams, the wide receiver cards aren't that important. Draft league cards, they take on much greater importance. I think Dave neglected that a little bit. And you end up with Deshaun Watson as maybe his best receiver, which is a 1926 short, 9-15 deep. Not what you expect out of Deshaun Watson traditionally. He was getting older. Pretty good flat. So it's not bad. Travis Benjamin's the opposite type of guy. Well, 12-18 deep, but I mean, not even 16-22. 11-18 short. 11-18 short. Short plus wrong half the time. Incomplete on one of your starting receivers. That's Fred Ellison. I know you get 6 long gains, but that's a blocking back number, not a starting wideout number. 16-22 is often unacceptable. But maybe the 12-18 deep, you say the big yardage, okay, but so that's going to hurt his offense. I really think that, especially depending how he uses Ingram. If he runs too much off tackle and trying to hit the chunks, you can find yourself not moving the chains well enough. John Brown, 5'9", 12. He's a 16-22, 9-15. But I mean, 16-22 is not great either. That's really not what you want out of a starter. So you could see some 3 wide here with those 3 guys. I don't know. What do we got at Benjamin Watson here? $19.16, and then pretty good flat, but the yardage is not good. Guess right again. He's another guy low average. 8.6 for a tight end is low. You really don't want anything under 10 for your tight end. The STRAT cards look a little lackluster. So the offense, I like the run blocking. Ingram's got a real good card. Eckler's not a bad backup. I like what Big Ben can do, but he does throw picks. But the receiving targets are going to be a problem. It's not like it's going to, totally kill you. It'll hold you back, holds back this offense from maybe being a really flourishing unit when you compare it to like what Dennis likes to do with his offenses. 3-4 defense, big on ratings. 5-5-5 on the line. 5-4, 5-6 at linebacker with good pass rush. The 6 at one corner and 5s at the other spots. 5-5-5 defensive line is good, but he's still going to bring up some help when you play a 3-4 against teams that can run. Now, this will be interesting. Dave's got the 12 with the 1 asterisk outside here, 12 with the 3 asterisk outside here. So, now in STRAT, in the modern game, you need to free safety blitz to take advantage of your pass rush. So how Dave manages the free safety blitz plus at least one of these linebackers, Dan would say send 2, certainly. Send them all to get the bump. That's going to, we'll see if the defense can play real well doing that. They have the unit to do that. There's only 2 4s against the pass on this team. One is an inside linebacker. So the defense should be able to play well. I don't know much about Dave's coaching. I've played him at times when he hasn't had a great team. I think he made the playoffs in SSFDL. So when I say that, Dave, I just don't know. The track record, I just haven't played you enough, or really known how you've done in other leagues that I know about to make a judgment one way or the other. Kicker is okay for the year. 2-7 out of 37. That's nice. 2-9, 12 extra point is very not nice. Maybe he'll go for 2 more off. He's got the run blocking and Ingram to maybe try and do that. So it's a good team. I know Dave has high expectations for this team. I'm going to give him only 10-6 just because I just don't know yet how well his coaching stacks up. So if Dave does a good job coaching, the team could go 12-4, 13-3. The talent is there for this team to be a semifinal participant. And once you get the semifinals, obviously you're a Super Bowl participant, right? Super Bowl contender, right? So 10-6 does seem harsh. I give Dave the benefit of the doubt. I go 11-5. I said it's a down year for a lot of teams. I don't know what the schedule looks like. I'll give him 11-5. Do we play? We don't play in the regular season. I'll give him 11-5, and this will be a good test to see where Dave stacks up coaching, because the team is good. Not a lot of good teams this year, so the environment is there to do real well with a team that's good personnel. They did a nice job putting it together for the season. So let's see if he can do it here. I need to find the 11-5 that I can copy paste. At these, their player predictions. There we go. Genesis 2013 season. That works. So yeah, so now I'll be interested to watch Dave and Tony this year. See how those teams do. Curious about Dan's team. Curious about Mick's team. Like a lot of teams, like I'm just not sure exactly where to peg them. I'm curious how those teams are going to do. Very interesting. So we're getting down near the end here. We've got about 6 teams left. And in the Samifa family of leagues, some of the best teams are near the end. Because Ed's always San Francisco and Dennis is always Seattle. And there's usually somebody else, sometimes Paul or San Diego. So you tend to get a couple of Super Bowl contenders near the end of these shows. Pittsburgh, the mighty Dan Thorauer, who I've spoken about a little bit here today. Dan's third full season in the league was 4-12 each of the first 2 years. Let's see what he's got going. He does, of Carson Wentz, though. Drafted Kareem Hunt in the second round. That's right. Dan was building a team to kind of compete for the year while maintaining an eye to the future. I mean, Wentz is a franchise quarterback, I believe, even though there's some controversy in Philadelphia. We'll see. That's one good thing about STRAT. Your card does not come with any controversy. If you had Terrell Owens back in the day, or Adrian or Antonio Brown right now, or whoever, your card does not come with a controversy. It just comes with the numbers on it. So yeah, Wentz a quarterback. Wentz got an interesting card. And runs pretty good. Must run 2 to 6 yards or more. Flat pass 7 only incomplete. Guys hate that, but it's there. The short pass ride's real strong though. 2, 6, 12, 16 units of short pass ride completion with 8 must runs with a must run 2 to 8 to 6 yards or more. So, I mean, that's really good. If you have good pass blocking, short pass ride can be a staple of your offense. 2, 5, 9, 15, 19, 22, 23 short pass wrongs. If you can run it, get some short pass wrongs with good receivers, that can be very helpful. 5, 12 deep with 8 units of reasonable must runs. That's not bad. And the interceptions are pretty low. Short pass right 2 to 4, 11, and 12. Long pass right 2 to 6, 11, and 12. It's okay. It's not Tom Brady, but, you know. So, you know, I kind of like this Wentz card if the rest of your team is good. You know, it's kind of like a decent all-around card. Can throw all 3 levels. I don't get really too upset by the flat pass 7 only incomplete. In my mathematical ratings, I get Wentz ahead of Jimmy Garoppolo. Dennis would probably say that I was out of my mind. But I do. You got Kareem Hunt running, another interesting card. Because it's chunky but, right? I mean, it's chunky. You can't find a short gain in this card. You know why? Because it doesn't exist. There it is. 3 linebacker wrong. It's really short gain. 2 units on the whole card. And you see the +1 and the +3. But the guess right yardage is strong on linebacker. And then off tackle 8 to 12. I don't like this off tackle wrong column. The linebacker is a good blocker. The linebacker wrong column is not bad. You got 7 units of 20 or more. You have 11 units of 3 yards or less. That means you got 25 units of 5 yards or more. That's really not chunky, really. The end run wrong is actually not too bad either. No short gains, but 5 units of 24 or more, including 4 units of long gain or +58. But also 3, 7, 12. But you also have 24 units of 4 yards or more. 22 units of 5 yards or more. So, and this card has some effect. This is a weird card. And a lot of us aren't sure how to use it. It's a card that puts up the numbers, but how does it get them? but I think he can move the chains because of the guest right if you have good run blocking. I'm wondering if you have a chunky back but have really good run blocking, if that's not bad at all. Maybe especially in a league without double counting, where it's the big plays are more important. And then of course he's excellent receiving. The flat pass run is really good for the catches and the yardage. I like his flat pass receiving yardage better than some of the other backs we've looked at. That's probably because he averaged 8.6. So okay. I caught it for somewhere in there. Le'Veon Bell was at like 7.7. This guy's at 8.6. I'll take the shoulders from McCaffrey next year. It's not bad. 11.18 short, and he can go deep. 5.10, which Dennis loves. Dennis has him in Battle Royale. He's a 0-0. Then he's got Donta Foreman and DeMarco Murray and Benny Cunningham. Those are decent cards as your secondary complimentary back, I suppose. This is Dan Thorauer. Center right guard 6, left guard 4. So Lima Kareem Hunt will be very much in play. He's got 2.7 to the left side and 2 5s and a 4. So that's not bad. The receiving targets, just like Dave Garrett's team, not strong. Jordan Matthews a backup? Oh, I'm thinking of the Tennessee guy. Rashard Matthews. He's got Chris Hogan, 34 catches, 12.9. He's 19.26 short. Okay. And I like the flat yardage, but the receptions aren't great. But 19.26 short, only 5.10 deep. Paul Richardson, I think, is at 12.18 deep. 12.18 deep, only 16.22 short. Tyler Higbee has no great shakes. 11.8 average. Through 16.22 short. The flat, it looks like it's not the top flight tight end for catches, but the yardage is good there. 5.10 deep. Might be going blocking back with Seth DeVal 4-0. 0 pass blocking back. That's not too exciting. 33 catches, 12.0. He's got a pretty decent car for blocking back, 16.22. It's a Tyler Higbee clone, except he's only 2.6 deep. But I like the flat pass yardage on Higbee and DeVal, and Hunt's pretty good there for running back as well. But you can go deep with the 12.18. I just wish the receiving targets were a little better on this offense. The defense got to be pretty good for this team to get the most out of that offense. 3-4 goes 6-4-5 in the line, 4-4-4-5 at linebacker, has 1-4 at corner, but has a 5-6 at safety and a 6 at the other corner.
Are you still going?
I am still going.
How's it going?
It's going well. We're up to the Pittsburgh Steelers, the mighty Dan Thorauer. So you missed pretty much like Detroit through Oakland.
Sounds good. Do you have your predictions for them, or do you want to just email me those later?
I have my predictions for them, and I'll email them to you later.
Perfect.
So both. And I was talking about Dan Thorauer's team, Dennis, and I was just wrapping them up, but I'll give you a chance here since you're joining us. He's got Carson Wentz at quarterback, Dennis, who's got flat pass 7 only incomplete, very nice short pass card, 5.12 deep, 8 units of must run. It's not bad, 2.86 yards or more. End run wrong is a little niche play, maybe every now and then. Low interceptions, I like it. But then, Dennis, talk about this. Believe it or not, that it's in my mathematical rankings, because of the interceptions, I have Carson Wentz ahead of Jimmy Garoppolo. What do you think of that rating? Do you think that's crazy?
No, I love his. If you have somebody who can run the ball, you can get guessed wrong calls. That short pass guessed wrong is like a chain mover. So no, I can totally see that. The picks hurt when you hit them. That's the only thing, is that you just got to avoid the picks if you're running on Garoppolo. Garoppolo's short pass card is excellent. There's no doubt about that. But you're right, the picks are a little higher. So it's subjective when you get to that point. I think they're both very good cards. You can be very successful with either card.
I agree with that. I agree with both of those things. And this is on my numerical rating, not my subjective. I think I would take Wentz anyway. I know Garoppolo's got the great flat pass, but I think Jimmy's 2-7 or worse on the short pass interception. Guess right. And the 2-4, 11, 12 seems easier to avoid. But it also depends what type of team you have. Like you said, like if you don't have, like if you need to rely on your quarterback more, I want Jimmy's card, because Wentz is probably not going to carry your offense with that flat passing. But if I have like a better all-around team, then I'll take the quarterback, who's maybe not as strong with the pure passing, but is a little lower turnover. You know what I'm saying? Or a lot lower turnover.
I like everything about Dan's team except that one outside linebacker spot, which has a 0, I think. But everything else is good.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent team all around. I think the wide receiver is going to hurt him a little bit on offense. Hogan, Richardson, Higbee, and DeValve doesn't scare that much. And Hunt is a little chunky, but he's got the 4.66 interior run blocking. I think Hunt on the linebacker will be good for him because Hunt gets a good guess right yardage. The defense 6.45, 4.444 is what I have here, Dennis. I don't think you have the current file. Corner 4. And also, we don't know about Dan's coaching. He's new to the online community. And I looked at his special teams as well. Dave Gabbert's one. I'll be curious about your prediction with some of these guys when you get a chance tonight to put him up and look. He has a great Jedi Mickens on return today. You know him well. Randy Bullock, it's all right. Okay, so nothing to ding or get too excited out of the way. So I don't know. What do you think about this team for a prediction? I mean, Wentz is pretty good. Hunt's pretty good, but chunky. The receivers aren't that great. The defense has got some good stuff going on, but it's in the hands of maybe an inexperienced coach. I'm not sure. What do you think?
I think Dan's actually a pretty good game day coach. His inexperience is more on the drafting side of things, but because he's played in the stock leagues with me for a long time. So I think this looks like possibly like a 9-7 type team. He could be 10-6, 11-5 if the breaks go his way, or he could finish 7-9 and out of the playoffs.
Have you been in any other modern draft leagues with him?
No, aside from this one, just the stock leagues.
And he's in Battle Royale this year, right?
Yes.
Is this his first?
No. He's not in Battle Royale.
Oh, it's not in Battle Royale. Okay. All right. So what are you predicting?
9-7.
You went 9-7.
The strength of Wentz and Kareem Hunt is going to drive that offense.
Those stock leagues you've been in with him, were they modern or a little older?
Oh, they're retro.
Retro. Probably no dump off.
No, we play with dump off. We play with all the rules.
A retro or a dump off? Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I'm going to go. I was giving 1 to 500 because I don't know about the coaching yet, but I'll give him a slight benefit of the doubt. I'll give him 8-8 because of you give me a good report on the coaching. So I'll give him 8-8. I will say this. Why I talked about Dan quite a bit because it's one of the things Dan threw out. Because one of the things he posted on the forum, guys get better. Guys play a lot of games. Guys get better. So Dan was saying you'll never go 12-4 in these leagues. I wouldn't say that, Dan. Just keep playing. So he seems like a bright guy. He writes well. I like his writing style. He has a good sense of humor. So I think the intelligence is there, and coaching experience plus intelligence equals victories. Do you agree, Dennis?
I agree.
There you go. All right, we're going to go to NFL now. We got 5 teams left. Dennis, do you have time to stay here through the finish, or do you have to go soon, or what's your deal?
No, let's do it. Let's blitz through them.
All right, blitz through them. Okay. NFL.
Well, what was your prediction for Pittsburgh? 8-8?
8-8, yeah.
Okay.
And you're keeping track of that now. Okay, so we got NFL Ed, who won the SMIFA title 2 years ago. He has 2 SMIFA titles. Jay Villing has 3. No one else has more than 1. Ed actually had a lean period a couple years ago in SSFA. I said SSFA, not SMIFA. Ed has got 3. Jay's got 3 SSFA titles. Ed has 2. No one else in SSFA has 1. Okay. The lead period a couple years ago, 8-8, 9-7, unlike Ed. He made the playoffs at 9-7. And then back to more glory, 10-5-1 with the championship and 13-3. We all know about Ed and his coaching abilities in the SMIFA semifinals yet again. I'd like the Patriots making all the semifinals probably. We got a team of Kirk Cousins at quarterback. Dennis, that's your Battle Royale quarterback. Excellent flat pass card. Pretty good short. Look at the long there. 8-14. 8-13, that long pass wrong. Who's your running back in BR? Kareem Hunt? Okay.
Yep.
That's where Dennis wants to pound, go deep.
Yeah.
Certainly 8-13. The picks are a little higher than I like, but I think he still comes up good. He's still 7th in my ranking, so it's numerical. But I think those guys are all bunched together for me. I think I told you, Dennis, that I had like Cousins, Rivers, Wentz, Roethlisberger, and Jimmy G all kind of bunched together, like a slight drop off after Russell Wilson, perhaps.
Yeah.
And you can see that, I think. These guys have a little more picks, and Wentz doesn't have the completions. So, Bilal Powell and Carlos Hyde. I kind of like this Carlos Hyde card with the Hyde card with the naked eye. I thought it did, but maybe not. Looking at it now, I thought it was better. I guess not. Bilal Powell.
You get those chunky hits. I mean, and you can run guessed wrong with it fine, and people are not going to be calling run as much as they will with Powell.
The Powell off tackle wrong card is actually pretty decent. Although linebuckers, we got the 10 long gain, but linebucker, Dennis, look at 5, 6, 7, 8. 5's always nothing. And +2 is 0, +3, and even 9 +2. So that's looking at 4, 9, 15, 20. That's 24 units of 3 yards or less on the linebacker wrong card. I mean, that's really chunky. That's terrible. I know you want the 10 long game, but wow. When off tackle wrong, at least it's 15 units of 3 yards or less. So the off tackle, I don't know, where would you live? Off tackle or linebacker?
I would just keep mixing it up, but you got to stick. You got to stick with again. Look at what the opponent's giving you, but you will hit those. You will hit that 10, and the edge is up top enough to make it worthwhile. I probably would go off tackle though, to be honest, because you want to get, if you're going to hit an edge, you want to, that 51 and the 75 is just jumping out at you. That's fantastic.
Yeah, you still have 4 units of 25 or better on the tackle.
I have the same kind of card in Somifa with Mark Ingram, and I do a combination. It's reversed where I have the 10 on long gain on off tackle, or it's actually on 4, but same thing. So I run off tackle enough to that, I'm hoping to get it. But if I'm moving the ball more consistently, I'm going to the other columns.
Yeah, but Ingram's card is better all around though. It's not as bad as Powell.
It has a usable Ingram too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as bad as Powell on the off numbers. Now, it was in the BR show, but this card was transferred way too high BR for me. But so he's got Powell and Hyde, and Powell can't catch well as he used to can. You got Cousins there. You got Marvin Jones is excellent, and Stephon Diggs is good.
Marvin Jones card.
Yep, Delaney Walker's good. Greg Olsen, not what he used to be, but he's not bad. Kind of just ordinary, I think. And 1926 short. The flat's not what you expect from Greg Olsen, but at least some yardage is there. So interesting offense. 2 7s pass blocking, center 6, right guard 5, left tackle 5, 2 3s in pass protection. So what do you think of this offense, Dennis?
I think it's going to do well. I think Ed will, again, we have to keep going back to coaches over cards sometimes, and Ed will coach him up. I think he'll do well.
Yeah, well, also people are going to get passed a lot against Cousins with the flat pass acumen and the downfield threats. He's got Marvin Jones and some of these other guys who are also good receivers in general. So you get more wrong cards, which will help Powell and Hyde. And we don't talk about Ed's coaching being so excellent. 3-4 defenses, I think, is this. Look, Ed's a great coach, but even with a great coach, sometimes you feel like maybe they're better on one side of the ball. I feel like Ed's a great coach. I feel like defense is where he really shines. I don't know if you agree or disagree. 5-4-5 defensive line, 4-4-4-5 at linebacker, all 6 short pass defenders. With his free safety 4 is a 6 against the run. This guy's going to be in the line of scrimmage a lot.
And a 6 extra DB, and a 6 slot guy.
And a 6 slot guy.
So yeah, you're going to be in trouble moving the ball against Ed.
Yeah, it's always a killer when you see a guy who's a really good coach, and then you see this type of setup. You're like, yeah, now he's going to use it tremendously, because it's not a defense that could just stand there and stop you. You got to move guys around, but you know Ed's going to do it. You know, he's got a good pass rush as well. He's not a big safety blitz guy, not his cup of tea. But when you got 12s and 11s and a 12 inside linebacker and good short pass defenders, you might see a lot more of that from Ed this year. Rashad Jones will be living in the front 7, flooding flats or helping against the run.
Wait a minute.
Maybe safety blitzing.
Are you playing a 3-4 or 4-3?
3-4.
Then why doesn't he have Brandon Williams in there? Is he a defensive tackle?
Yes.
Oh, that's it. Never mind. Thought he was a nose tackle.
Now he's a right end 6, defensive tackle 5. Michael Pierce got the nose tackle rating. So, okay. So I like this defense in Ed's very capable hands. We talked about the coaching over cards. Quick look at special teams. Bobby Rainey's good on kicks. The field goal kicker is not bad. 2-9-12. 2-6-12 from deep.
Okay, wrap it up. What do you got for your prediction?
I'll go 12-4.
Yeah, I was just writing that in. So I'm going to do the same. Actually, I'll go 13-3 just because it's
I feel like the team would have to be a little stronger at 13-3, though. Even though I think the league is a little light this year, which is good for the teams at the top. I feel like there's not as many good teams this year as happened, and even the middle tennis the teams. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be a top heavy year. I don't know. Seattle, you'll know more when you look through those teams that you missed to do your predictions. Seattle, this is your club. 3-time Super Bowl runner-up, back to back. Right, Dennis?
Correct.
Double overtime last year. That's to be rough to lose in double overtime.
It was. I had a chance, and I should have gone to. I should have done something differently in the overtime when I recovered a fumble punt in the double overtime, like around the 50, and I just couldn't move the ball. I should have brought in Gore then. I was out of carries. I was still trying to use my other guys, free cards, and I just couldn't move the ball. I should have brought in Gore and then just did a little either running or flat pass with him. But
Gore was good for us. Gore kind of overplayed his card for it to me. He seemed like the guy that if he needed something to get done, I would go to him. Is that somebody joining us?
No, that's just getting a bunch of reminders.
Okay. Reminder. Okay.
Get the link to work for whatever reason.
Okay. People can't get the link to work for what?
For the Hangout, but I just exited and tried it again. It works fine.
Okay, maybe they don't have a Gmail. Who knows? Anyway, all right, Seattle, this is your club. You got Russell Wilson at quarterback. I think I have him very highly this set. I got him number 6 mathematically, and maybe even number 5. I'm probably taking him over Case Keenum because I think Russell can go deep a little better. The end running has returned with all the short gains. 2 to 8, 5 yards or more in the must run. 2 to 7, 8 yards or more. 2 to 6, 10 yards or more. 5 only incomplete, but lower turnovers. 13 short pass right, good short pass wrong, good must runs. 7, 13 deep. I know you're going to enjoy that. The 7 gets enhanced by 7 must runs rather. It's a pretty solid card. Frank Gore, Tariq Cohen, Malcolm Brown is good. Mike Davis is running back by committee over here in Seattle, right, Dennis?
Yeah, and that's the one thing. I don't really have an impact running back like I usually have in a title contending year. So the guys are okay. They're not bad, but they're not like.
Well, Malcolm Brown, gets wrong, is very good off tackle and run. So he's the guy to watch for. Gore can get it done if they give it to you, and they tend to. And Gore's a good decoy because he's Frank Gore. You bring in Frank Gore in 2nd and 3, people think you're going to run with him, and then you throw a pass. That tends to work. I did a lot of my Samifa team. It's like I like doing that. You bring the guy 2nd and 3, like, oh, he's the backup running back. He's not that good. They're going to try and run with him, and then you throw a pass. And I get a lot of phone calls that way. Cohen, I'm not in love with this card, but you know what? If he gets wrong, linebacker off tackle, you can do a little something. I disagree that it's a fantastic receiving card. I use that word a little loosely, Dennis. Fantastic for some of these cards. But I do like the bomb. Tariq Cohen.
Yeah.
He said he had a fantastic receiving card.
Did
6
I?
only +7 on flat pass wrong. Anyway, but okay. So yeah, the running game be an issue, but then if you put it to the coaching, your capable hands. 4-7 with the offensive line. 2 6s left side run blocking, 5-7 right side run blocking. Kyle Juszczyk, another 6-7. He's the man. Good receiving as well with him. Kelvin Benjamin picked up cheaply, 1926, 12-18. That's not bad. And he has long-term ability. Maybe not a good year next year, but Jerron Brown, 1926. Dennis doesn't like the 9-15 long pass, that was a little better. But Will Fuller, who's going to start? Dennis Fuller or Brown?
Brown.
All right, Fuller's got the 12-18 deep, so that could happen at times. Maybe some 3 wide out of this team. Well, it's hard with Kyle Juszczyk to bench that blocking back. Vernon Davis has got a very good card. Flat pass of Vernon Davis. Oh. And the 1926 and 9-15 for tight end. So with Vernon Davis and Benjamin and Brown, he actually came together some good receiving targets compared to what you started with. And Russell Wilson in the running game. Let's look at the defense. Playing a 4-3, Dennis.
Yeah.
5-6-5-5. You're playing one of those. I've said that several times during the show, Dennis. Those 4-3s that are all 5s or better are really tough against the run. Even more so when the 66 at tackle, but 65 will do. So that'll be a good run defense. And you got a 10 at right end, a 7 at left tackle for the pass rush. Dante Poe may come in occasionally. Anthony Lanier in passing situations. 4-4-4 linebackers. 5-5-5-6 secondary. You got one extra 4. What do you think about this defense, Dennis?
They'll do all right.
I like the secondary a lot. Those teams, like I said, the 4-3 teams with the safety 6. They bring that safety up into a flat and flood one of the outsides. That can be tough to deal with. Joe pass right against the 3 men, but you mix it all up, of course. So this defense will be pretty good, but I can see why you feel like you're not sure. Defense will be pretty good in your hands, but you wish you had better ratings, I'm sure. The running game, I like Malcolm Brown, but you wish you had better ratings, I'm sure. Receiving it maybe slightly better, I'm sure you wish. So those are the things that I know that you make a lot of moves for the opponent. Punt returns not that great. Will follow very strong punt returning. Field goal kicking. Dennis, you're annoying me now because now you're prioritizing these field goal kickers. I think, is it after Graham Gano started, it was just automatic on all those kicks inside the 32, started saying, you know what, I like having good kickers now. Because you didn't care that much about the good kicker a couple years ago, it seems like.
No, I always care about the kicker. I mean, I just don't. I try to get it filled as cheaply as possible. So I'll trade for a guy that's like 10th, if I can give up just an 8th round pick or something like that.
That's not what we did this year. You went for the young Harrison Bucker, who was a good card and had a good year next year. And maybe this will solve your kicking for a long time. So I find like some of these young kickers you draft in the spring, when they've had 2 good seasons, a lot of those guys become like the next 8, 9, 10-year very reliable guy. Like Dan Bailey, people forget he was very good until last year. And now he's terrible. Right. But if you drafted Dan Bailey 7 or 8 years ago, you got a good run out of him, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
So 3rd or 4th round, if you get, it can work out. But it's annoying me, Dennis, because I feel like
they are very inconsistent from year to year, though.
Yes.
You just have to get used to that.
But I feel like it's annoying me, Dennis. You're prioritizing them more because I feel like I used to prioritize them. Now I can't get them as well because you're prioritizing them. And you're aggressive and you figure things out. It's not good. So I think this team will do well. Yeah, now let me ask you this. I feel like you've had mixed feelings about this team. They're going to do good. They're going to be well. They're going to be in the mix at the end. But I feel like you wish that for the type of team you like to field, for you to feel like, this team, I feel good about their championship hopes. I feel like you wish the team was slightly stronger at something. Is that true?
Oh yeah. If I really would have wanted to go for it, I would have given up that, gotten a Dion Lewis type card, and I think that would be fine. But even it's going to be okay. I think I can.
Yeah.
I think my goal in every Ed's league is try to go 3-1 each block. Go 3-1. You finish with 12-4. Good chance that you're going to get a bye or at least have a favorable matchup in the first couple of rounds. So that's my goal this year again. I think I can do it, but I haven't looked at the schedule or anything else like that.
I'm going to pick you for 12-4, Dennis. I was going to go 11-5, but your coaching is too good. And I've said that there's a lot of teams that aren't that great this year. So I think the better teams might have a chance to do even better. We do not play in the regular season, Dennis. But I think you'll be there. You'll be in the semifinals at least. I would not be surprised if you're back in the Super Bowl for a 4th straight time, which would be amazing. But I'm going to predict you for 12-4. What are you predicting?
12-4 as well.
All right, look at that. Very manly, assertive prediction for yourself. Tampa Bay. This is now Dale Ripley, right?
Yep.
Former Semifinal champion. This is first go around in SSFA, I believe, correct?
The talented Mr. Ripley is back to try to
That's right.
make some things happen here.
Believe it or not.
There you go.
You got Case Keenum at quarterback. I've got him as one of the better cards. Lamar Miller has got a pretty good guess wrong card for the end run, the off tackle, and the linebacker. Guess right now took great. We're going to get a lot of wrong calls with Keenum in there. I like the flat pass wrong yardage. Flat pass right's not too bad for running back. 11-18 short. 0-0 blocking. Jamal Williams is kind of an acceptable supporting back. You would agree, Dennis, because you used him in SFFDL, right?
Yep. I like him.
Linebacker off tackle's not too bad. You can go deep. Dennis loves guys who can go deep from an unlikely source. And 8-16 short is even not too bad. The blocking would help with a guy like that. Dale's got all 7 of the offensive line except for right tackle 5. Center 6, right tackle 6. I think we're going to see the 4 wide, Dennis.
Yep, he's just going to split them out and let them go at it. 4 wide.
Dale has been a proponent of the 4 wide. He used 3 and 4 wide extensively in SEMIFA, won a championship with it. Here he's got Michael Thomas, Odell Beckham, Larry Fitzgerald, and Rashard Matthews, and Case Keenum at quarterback. You might want to defend the flat pass. I wish Nathan had a dime 1-6 in this situation. I'd love to see that matchup. But Nathan's rebuilding this year. So, but I mean, Larry Fitzgerald is not a great card unless you're running a 3 or 4 wide. Because the yardage is not that good short or long. But if you're running the 3 or 4 wide, that's a great flat pass right card.
It is.
Fitzgerald, Thomas, Beckham, and then Rashard Matthews is good.
Yeah, and he can run the ball. Miller. Look at Miller's card, even out of a 3 wide set.
That's lose to the playoffs, then it's going to be upset. George is upset. He's going for that Minnesota Magic he had in SEMIFA. This group of receivers with Case Keenum. I mean, come on. That flat pass is gonna be a pain in the ass, Dennis.
Yeah, but you're kind of. I mean, in one aspect, you're kind of wasting all those 7s if you don't throw it short. More than he did with his Minnesota team. You're going to get your share of dump offs. So if you're just going to focus on the flat, you get no dump offs.
That's true, but if you're going to give him the flat, he's going to eat you alive.
That's true too.
And he'll throw some short and so long and get his dump offs. It's harder to blitz a team that is so good on the flat. Let's see who's got a defense. 4-3. We're all fearing Dale's multi-wide. It was a 4-3 that goes 5-6, 4-6. 4-6-4 in the flat, but Derek Johnson 0 against the run. 6-5-5 short pass 6 for City. Dennis, this team is gonna overachieve because those 4-3s with a linebacker 6 and a safety 6. I mean, they bring the safety up. You bring the safety up. Well, actually, ideally, you have a 6 on the outside. Then bring the safety up into the middle and slide the middle out. And you got 6s or flooded at all 3 flats. But even so, he's gonna have a 6 or a flooded flat for you to throw at. Or bring Thomas to the line of scrimmage at times. He's got a good run defense with a right tackle forward that you're going to try and attack that, I guess. A pretty good short pass defenders. You're going to try to hit him with the flat pass and the short pass. It's going to be a pain in the neck team to play against. The defense can be a little annoying, and the offense with the flat passing and the multi-wide, because he knows how to use it, Dennis. You got to give credit to him because he knows how to use it. He has shown that he can do well with that. Not everyone has shown they can do well with that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, you got to be patient with it. And a lot of guys give up on going 3 wide or 4 wide, but Dale will stick with it, and that would usually, pays off for him. So good job for him on your prediction.
And then he's got Jamal Agnew returning punts.
Oof, that's another little point right there.
And Matt Bryant's a pretty good kicker. 2 to 7, 11 and 12 out to the 40.
Nice.
It seems a pain in the ass. I don't want to face this team in the playoffs. Can you knock him out for me, Dennis?
We'll see what happens. But,
give me a favor and knock him out, so I'll face someone else.
Okay.
Now he did that with that great Jordan Howard card. Lamar Miller's card is not Jordan Howard's card. Doesn't have the big run, so let's see if it works as well. Okay? But I got to give credit where credit is due because he did it with that team. All right, so Tampa Bay prediction for this team?
I put 11-5.
Dennis, I'm going to go 12-4.
Oof,
He's perfected the multi-wide. These receivers are excellent. Case Keenum is really good at the flat. I like what the defense can do. He's got Jamal Agnew. I'm going to give him 12-4, Dennis.
Sounds good.
Just that, so that we don't get caught off guard. Tennessee, but maybe do I play him in the regular season? I hope not. It's annoying. At least have a good secondary and a 3-4. Tampa Bay. Yeah, I play him in the third block. Okay. Tennessee. That is John Madden returned. Another nemesis. He beat me twice in SSFA playoffs when I had good teams. Well, once I had a real good team. No, he beat me once in SEMIFA and once in SSFA. Of course, he had a good team too. I'm just saying. With close games both times. 5 turnovers in SSFA game. But he's rebuilding over here, I guess. He's got Andy Dalton, Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah, this team is Andy Dalton, Ezekiel Elliott, and right tackle 0-0. That's going to hurt. 2 7s are fine, but that 0 right tackle is going to cost you big time. And Elliott's not even that good.
I have 5 minutes left, so
okay.
If we can blitz through these, that'd be fantastic.
All right, only one more to go. Washington. It's okay, but 4-3 defense goes 6-5-5-4, 4-4-4, 4-4-4-5. Not that great a team, Dennis. I'll go 8-8 though because it's John Madden. What are you gonna give him?
I'm giving him 6 and 10 because I got to balance my books. I already put all my predictions in. I'm at 192 and 192. So.
All right, Washington. Well, you can also modify it later, but okay. Washington. That's Keith Mowbray, right?
Yep, I give him 7 and 9. Without, I'm just stealing your thunder right there. So go ahead and check.
Well, I think he has a good team. Phillip Rivers, not good flat pass, but good with the turnovers. Nice in the bomb with 10-14 bomb. And then he's got Alvin Kamara and look at this is 79. Phillip Rivers, Alvin Kamara, and LeGarrette Blount.
There's always a team that underachieves.
With Julio Jones, Demaryius Thomas, three sevens on the line, all sixes, all fives, and a 6 right tackle, 4 guard. The offense looks pretty good to me. 3-4 defense goes, Dennis, you need to amend. 3-4 defense goes 6-5-5, 0-4-6-0 with Bobby Wagner as a 266 inside linebacker. A 4 safety, the rest of the secondary is a 5. It's a pretty good team, Dennis.
All right. I changed it to 10 and 6. I'm gonna have to change somebody else now. I think I'm gonna have to go after a Dan Thorhauer. Move him down a little bit. Yeah, that is a bad kicker. Much better team than I thought.
Fairbairn. You got a bad kicker, Jamie Fairbairn. But I'm gonna go 5-5-5-0-4-6-0. I'm gonna go 10 and 6 for Washington. He's not a bad coach.
What you had for Tennessee? I forgot to write it down.
I had 8 and 8. Only because Johnson's a good coach. Give Tennessee 7 and 9 for me. Make it 7 and 9. If I have to bump my ball, he'll be a bump up candidate. I have no idea where the minor balance. They probably aren't. Okay.
Well, tell me your predictions real quick. I'll plug them in and you can decide right here if you want.
Okay. Detroit. That's formerly Atlanta. Okay, that's why. 9 and 7.
Okay. Green Bay.
8 and 8.
I'll tell you, I had 9 and 7 for Detroit. I had 6 and 10 for Green Bay.
Houston, read out yours too. Yeah, say Green Bay, your prediction, then I say mine. Green Bay what?
Green Bay, I had 6 and 10. You had 8 and 8. Houston, right. I had 9 and 7.
9 and 7.
All right. Jacksonville, I had 3 and 13.
3 and 13. It's funny, we did this without hearing each other.
Kansas City, I had 9 and 7.
10 and 6.
Chargers, I had 10 and 6.
Chargers, I had 9 and 7.
Rams, I had 2 and 14.
2 and 14.
Miami, I had 6 and 10.
5 and 11.
Minnesota, I had 10 and 6.
12 and 4.
New Orleans, I had 8 and 8.
7 and 9.
New York Jets, I had 13 and 3.
12 and 4.
New York Giants, I had 7 and 9.
3 and 13.
Oh, wow.
You didn't do Oakland.
You got to look at that one. Oakland, I had 10 and 6.
I have 11 and 5.
All right. Well, you were only 6 off.
What am I, under or over?
Over. So you just need to change 3 games.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Send it to me and I'll look it over and I'll make that adjustment. Okay. Or post it. I'll make that. All right. And Super Bowl prediction. You want to make a Super Bowl prediction, Dennis?
I say Tom, the Jets over the Niners.
Jets over Niners, huh? I like Ed's team. I like Jets my team.
Niners 31.
I just got 35 points on Ed.
Yep.
Oh, boy. No pressure. I'm gonna go. I like Ed's team. I like your team. I like you. I like you. I like Ed. I'm always picking you and Ed. I like Tony's team. Dan can be a sleeper. I'm gonna go. The Tampa Bay team is scary, Dennis. I'm gonna go unusual prediction. I'm gonna go Jets over Tampa Bay, Dennis.
Score?
That safety 6, that linebacker 6, that 4-3, Jamal Agnew, and that pain in the ass offense. And Lamar Miller. That's good. I'll go. I might change it. I'll go Jets have a 10 for now. I'll look it over later because I know you want to get somewhere. I'm not. I think my team's real good, but there's other teams that are real good also. I think they've got a good chance to make the Super Bowl. So then I got to pick the opponent, and then how I like that matchup. So that's why I went there. I might change that, but we'll see. But I do like my team.
Have a score?
A score? Jets Tampa Bay. Oh, well, I'm not even sure that's my prediction because I'm hurrying to make the prediction because you got to go. So I'm withholding. I might change my prediction. So I got to look at the standings again. So send that to me. So I might change that. For now, just put Jets over Tampa Bay. So we're done with the SFA season preview, Dennis. I look forward to looking over the standings that you sent to me because I got to make my adjustments. I think there are more bad teams than I thought, which makes me feel. I think the teams that are on top: Jets, Seattle, San Francisco, Tampa Bay, Oakland, maybe Minnesota. Some of the teams like that should feel better about their chances. Washington, Kansas City wants to be that type of team. So those teams should feel better about, I think, their chances this year.
Sounds good to me.
All right, Dennis, that's our show. We'll wrap it up. We came in right at about 3 hours, which is not bad for this type of show. And we had some guests early. We had one guest, Butch. And everyone bailed on me. I was like, "Oh, this show must be terrible." But send me that thing, and I'll make my amendments, and I'll spend more time on my predictions. No need to run. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. I guess Dennis is saying goodbye. That's all. I'm saying goodbye after Dennis. The show's over.
See you later, everybody. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.